What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast, a podcast where we talk about movies. This is episode 9, and on this episode,
Niner.
we get to discuss Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which was a lot of fun, and our thoughts about where it sits in the industry. I am one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me as I do every week are my co-host, Roger. I wish I could go faster, Stillion, and Chris. I wish I could talk like Keanu Bond. Gentlemen,
Is
how
that a
are
fat
you?
joke?
Yeah, right? What happened there?
Wait, what? I said,
Okay, so hold on.
what
Out of
part
the
of I
th-
want to go faster, or
Hold
I wish I can go faster?
Out of the three of us, who's Sonic, who's Knuckles, and who's Tails?
Let's be honest. I'm definitely Tails. I'm gonna just own that one. I'm just gonna own
Listen.
that one.
At least he understands.
At least he said it. That's fine.
I can admit that. That's fair.
All right.
I have chosen my character. I am the Donut Lord.
Ooh, all right. That's actually all right.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's fitting.
I like it.
Oh yeah, the sweater, that awesome sweater he wore.
Yeah, listen,
Jay,
dude,
you don't understand.
that
I would
sweater went hard.
100% rock that sweater.
that was
Yeah.
a good one, man. That was a good.
Like it's got
sweater.
donuts on it.
I know.
like
like
very like like
3D donuts.
almost like Simpsons. Like don't remember
Yeah.
the ones at home with the
Oh, yeah.
vertical
Yeah.
crossing. Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very Homer like. Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, it's because you haven't seen Sonic 3 yet. So that's
You
where
have
that's
not.
where
Shame
that's
on
coming
you.
from.
But boys, this is Christmas week. Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas. If you celebrate around the world, I hope you have a great day on the 25th. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing? Chris and Roger, you guys both have kids. How is this chaotic lead up to Christmas Day? In what, like 3 days?
3
3
days
days.
for us. So
God,
I
it
just,
snuck up on
instead
me.
of saying merry or happy, I just say Christmas.
All right.
Passive aggressively at people.
I don't know.
Christmas. Christmas.
I work in tech, so it's happy holidays everywhere. But I still say Merry Christmas, and I get weird looks in my meetings. But
The
it's what it is.
the politically correct is Happy Holidays, but I mean, look,
Yeah.
I don't.
So
whatever.
I never understood the whole like why is it politically correct to say happy holidays? Just
Because-
because. So here's how I always thought about it. And I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to like make it like any real thing. I'm not sorry. This is not a political discussion. Never will be here. I always said happy holidays just because the fact that there are two holidays 7 days apart,
Yeah.
no matter what or like if in the denomination that I follow. So like maybe I want you to have a Merry Christmas, but I also want you to have a Happy New Year. But I don't
okay.
want to say both things. And Happy Holidays just sort of catches everything
Yeah.
right there together.
So when I was younger and dumber,
Or if you celebrate Hanukkah, then you still
it
have
covers that base. Yeah.
covers that base too.
See.
Or Kwanzaa, and you still have New Year's after that.
Hmm.
So like you just get everything in one shot.
I was
So
younger.
Because I'm lazy
I
as
lo-
fuck.
I love Chris. You just started a statement by saying when I was younger and dumber. So I
Yeah.
want to hear what you're
Yes.
saying next.
Well, so listen, it's not that long ago. It's like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
But,
ago.
But I used to say like whenever I would say happy holidays or if someone said it, I used to think it was like covering like people were talking about like still talking about Thanksgiving for some reason as we're getting
Mm.
closer to Christmas, that like they hoped you had a happy Thanksgiving, and
Mm.
I didn't put it together that it was like because like other holidays happen for other like places, but
Multiple
whatever.
religions and the
Yeah,
turnover
yeah.
year over
So
year. Okay.
again, younger and dumber, but it is what it is.
I mean, I would just stick
I'm now
to the
more
dumber
cultured,
part.
so
Younger and
Stick
dumber.
to the
indeed.
dumber part.
I don't, but like this year, for example. So this year, for example, within 4 weeks, you have Thanksgiving and Christmas. I mean, then followed by New Year. So those are 3 major holidays, all within like 5 calendar weeks.
yeah.
So like it's a lot. I mean, I understand like it's a lot. As an adult, this year crept up on me. Here's the thing: I was finishing. So I finally I got to meet Zac Efron
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
at the
All
rap
right.
party.
I love
for
we
my
didn't
show.
talk about this during show prep. By
Yeah,
the way.
hold on.
But here's the
Fucking
thing. So
surprise.
I was
Yes, we do show prep
so
sometimes.
at the rap party. Zach looked exactly like I thought he would. Not he's kind of like got that Tom Cruise, like he's not nearly as tall as you think he might be, but
Yeah.
I never
looks
thought he
like
was
that.
tall.
But strong
So,
jaw though, right?
I walked to the
Abs, bro.
table for
Did you
like
touch
the-
his abs?
No, I didn't. However, I touched something a little better. So I walked,
Whoa!
This is the Christmas
Hold on
episode.
a second.
No, hold on. Keep
hold
going.
on. I walked to the table to get part of the finger food, and like
Did you caress his hand?
we bumped booties. So
Oh,
and then I turned around. He kind of acknowledged it. Didn't like do anything. And then later I shook his hand, and he said, "Were you the guy I bumped booties with by the food table?" I'm like, that was me. Yes, thank you. So I got to make that Efron. I didn't get I should have gone for the picture to post on like all my social, but like I didn't want to jinx.
yeah.
I didn't. You're not. Here's the thing. You're not supposed to ask.
I
Because,
would.
like, if they do it, if they're like, "Hey, you want a picture?" It's like, sure, but
Shit,
I don't.
fuck yeah.
But like the correct decorum in a rap party with like celebrities, like you don't ask if they volunteer. So I didn't want to ask, but like I got to meet him, shake his hand. I talked to him for a few minutes. He's a really cool dude, very down to earth, awesome guy. So,
Which is when you asked him to be on the show, and he said,
I think that's further than wanting a picture, but
God
I'll work up to that, Chris. You know,
When you gonna fucking talk to him again?
You know, Roger faults me. You know, Roger faults me all the time. I literally sat next to Hilary Swank on a
Yes.
plane one time
Mm-hmm.
and didn't say, like, we exchanged a few words that, like, you know, people sitting next to other might have to exchange, like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? But like, I didn't say, hey,
I
what-
gotta take a shit.
you had the
He says
best-
that and looking directly at Hillary Swank in the face. Excuse me. I gotta go take a shit.
you had the best possible lead-in with Zachy E. You
I
could have
know.
looked at him and said, hey, listen, now that we've touched butts, why don't you come and talk on my podcast for a little bit with me
about
and my
butts.
boys?
We'll talk about whatever you want.
I didn't.
Actually,
like,
you get Zac
okay.
Efron up here. I'll let him talk about whatever the fuck he wants.
Here's
true.
the thing. Here's the thing.
Anything.
He asked me. He's like, "Oh, what have you what's my favorite thing?" I said, "Neighbors" makes me laugh every time, but goddamn, if that Iron Claw movie wasn't the best thing
Good.
you've ever
Hey,
been in.
Okay,
good.
no, yeah,
That's the right call.
100%.
Good job. What did he say?
He
Thank you.
said that he said he really enjoyed making that, and it was very depressing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, for yeah.
Hey,
But I got to talk to him, which is very. That was my like goal of the show, was talk to Zach. So
okay, all right, well that's cool.
I
That's
touched him
cool.
with this hand.
So
Yeah.
will he? So like next week?
Yeah.
Let me set
Okay.
that up.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna text Grayson like once a week. Be like, when's Zach coming on the show?
So that's my.
have
I
your
don't know
people
what I'm
reach
talking
out to
about
his
for that.
people and line that up.
So anyway, I was saying is, so that's what I was saying is, like, it's been super hectic because I jumped on that as like because that was like a super independent, smaller budget film, and like they needed someone for a few weeks, but it was a little more than anticipated. So like I just stayed on, but like it's just been super hectic. And I get all of a sudden it's like it's December 22nd. I'm like,
And
what? Where did the weeks go?
Yeah.
And it's Christmas, dog. Yep.
It seemed like 2 weeks ago like Gladiator just came out, and I was super excited and then let down. And then
I
now-
was sad because it was not very good.
and then Lord of the Rings came out, and I was
And then I
super
was
excited and
sad
let down.
because it was not very good.
And then Sonic
Twice.
3 came out, and then we
And I was
were-
sad because it's not very. Oh wait, sorry, foreshadowing.
Shadow.
It's okay, gentlemen. How are we doing on the lead up to Christmas, boys? What's going on?
Good, buddy.
It's that time for sure. I think I just took my kids out to do this Christmas shopping for their mother over
Today?
the weekend.
Oh,
So,
okay.
You know, cutting it close to the wire. My cousins and one of my uncles, their tradition is to go out on Christmas Eve and do their Christmas
I
shopping
can't
all
do
at
that,
once.
man. So here's
I cannot either.
I read that I did that once or twice,
Mhm,
like
yeah.
just because I was dumber, and I thought it's no big deal. I don't
Yeah,
work that
yeah.
day, and sometimes I don't work on New Year's or
Mhm,
excuse me
mhm.
Christmas Eve, and
Yeah.
I can just go do it. And like I've had decent success. Like
Yeah, okay.
I haven't like ruined Christmas, but I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you're at, like people are like either they're super happy, which is creepy, and I don't like that, or they're like super pissed off,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is very relatable.
Because they're shopping on
Yeah,
Christmas
and
Eve.
they're like fucking hate this
Yeah.
bullshit.
Well, like as a dad, you know what I mean? Like shopping for kids and stuff, and then the wife and like all that. Like even this close to Christmas, there are key items that are just gone.
Yeah.
You will not get your hands on at
Yep.
this point. And like my wife dealt with it. We almost didn't get like something that my oldest really wanted,
Mhm.
and luckily she was able to save the day literally, and she found it. Some other
Like
other
locally?
avenues.
Nice.
Well, let me-
Yeah,
let-
but
let-
like almost didn't get it. So
Well,
it
let
was.
me ask you, what's this year's like hot ticket item for like younger kids? What's the
I don't really.
Well, Chris-
I'm not,
Chris
I'm
might
not dealing
have
with
to
that.
Well,
yet.
my oldest is she's super into Lego, so it's gonna be like all like your prime time like Lego grabs, you know. I
And
mean,
Legos
like,
are so fucking. The prices are so fucked
They
up
are.
right now.
They
Well,
are. But
let me ask
you
you
know.
something. I saw one of those like Facebook shorts about how he's talking about what his son wants, and he's like, "My son wants this thing, but I know he's not responsible, and it's going to be worth more money if I buy it for if we keep it in the box. So I just give him the box and tell him he can't open it and play with the Legos. Does that make me a bad dad? No, probably.
That's
I don't
funny.
know, but like the resale value on these Legos is way more than it ever used to be. So
well,
Well,
I
the
know.
overall price of Lego is way higher than it used to be. All because here's the thing: like they're doing everything they're doing right now is licensed,
well.
so the prices are super jacked.
So the biggest problem we've run into the last couple of years for this, because like she got into Lego when COVID first hit.
Good, she should. Lego
um,
rules, a big Lego guy.
Good on getting COVID or good on the Lego
Both.
part?
Legos.
Yes, perfect.
No,
Perfect.
Legos.
I was told COVID didn't
Good
exist.
Lord.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, like the thing. So the
Not a
biggest problem-
political podcast.
That's
at all.
yeah, just double down, baby.
the biggest problem we've had. I'm going to try to keep bringing it back in.
Okay.
Is getting scalped by the big box stores on certain things.
Oh yeah, of course.
So
okay, well, I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
okay, so like for example, a couple years back, there was a big Lego item. It was one of the like the Lego like a Lego Monopoly or a Lego Pokemon thing that came out. I can't remember which one it was, and it was like $129.99 retail. That's like the recommended retail price.
That's from Lego.
It sold out like crazy, but then they got a restock, but then they were like $189. And then a week later they were $219.
Oh.
So and we've seen it with other things outside of Lego too, where like the hard to find items, they're like their prices are going up on the big box stores.
Yeah,
that's crazy to me.
Also, it's as someone who still buys some physical media for like Blu-rays and stuff. Like day one of Deadpool and Wolverine, the Steelbook was $70 on Amazon or something.
Oh, jeez.
Because there's almost no one carries that. I mean, Target's
Amazon's a little different though, because
Target, Walmart both carry, but like they don't carry that specialty stuff. So like, no one like now that Best Buy like purged all physical items, it's like now it becomes very pricey because everyone on retail on Amazon's like, well, if you want it, you'll pay for it. It's like those used to be $20, maybe 25.
Yeah, like $30, and I'm like,
Yep.
this is way higher than it should be. Well, I'm doing it because I want it. Yeah.
So that's actually been the biggest thing is because like the thing that we almost missed when we found it again, it was way more, and like she was like, I'm not paying that for that. I know it was just $60 cheaper 2 days ago. It was like. Then all right, and she ended up finding it someplace else somehow. So, but it's like that's a problem, and I don't like that. But
next time you run into that, let me know.
All right, yeah.
Oh, listen, I will.
We'll
100% buy fucking knockoff Lego, and I will show you where they're at and how to get a hold of them.
All right, cool. I'm down for that.
Moving on, gentlemen. Moving on from talking about crimes and whatnot. Who cares?
No, it's not a crime.
He's not driving around with his trunk open.
No,
calm down.
I didn't say it's coming out of my personal collection.
All right, gentlemen.
I have stuff I'll never open.
Let's start a show. What say you guys? Let's do it. All right, gentlemen. Once again, folks, this is episode 9 of Post Credits Podcast,
PCP,
where we, not a political podcast, not
talk
about
crimes,
crimes and drugs and all the best stuff, where we talk about movies. This week we have the good fortune of talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. But first, kind of a roadmap of where we're going. We're going to talk about the box office. Then we're getting into our favorite Christmas movies. Then Roger has a recommendation for you. Then we go into video game movies. And then Sonic 3. It's a packed episode. Let's go.
Hold on.
Hold on. We're holding on. For what?
I forgot. I feel obligated to say this every year that we're around the Christmas episode. Roger, you hate Christmas, and I think that's weird.
That's fine.
Okay. That's all.
I
love Christmas.
Thank you for interrupting the show for that one thing. I appreciate that. Number 1 in the box office. No surprise. Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Some surprise.
So I mean, it literally slapped Mufasa.
You're surprised.
I am surprised. Okay, here's the thing. I was surprised when Wicked literally lapped Gladiator around the track. I didn't see it coming. I also domestically did not see Sonic lapping Mufasa. I think that says a lot. You can extract a lot of information from that. But number 1, Sonic, 62 million domestic. That's a great number for a video game movie.
So good.
But worldwide, 63 million. So it only did 1.3 million internationally. That may be because it's not released in other places. Yeah. Number 2, Mufasa, Lion King. Here's the weird part: 35 million domestic, but with a worldwide of 122. So, I mean, there's the give and take. Is the box office 20 years ago meant the U.S. box office was a large part of it. I'm not going to say I don't.
It's different now. It is very different now.
It's extremely different, even than it was 2 years ago, because of all the politics worldwide. That it's just so different everywhere.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even a global market 20 years ago.
No,
it wasn't.
Now
only the big stuff.
Now American-made movies is literally like it's one of our biggest exports.
Yep.
So,
but I mean, I'm seeing a lot more, like, for instance, like indie and Bollywood films, which I'm happy to see. I mean, I'd like to see world cinema. I know Netflix is really going down with some Indian film, which is great because I watched some of them, and it is different, and it's a nice surprise not have the same kind of formula over and over again. But number 3, Wicked, 13.5 million. The worldwide is 571, doing very well for it. I'm sure they've good for it. I'm sure Wicked Part 1 has now paid for Part 1 and Part 2 and a little profit, which is great for them. Moana 2, 13.1 million. The movie with no song rememberable is now at 790. Worldwide.
790? That's crazy.
$7.90. I agree that to me, I saw the movie. That's not worthy of $7.90. But
Here's
hey,
the thing, though. It's done. It's
it
it's
is.
cooked, man.
True. Yeah.
Number
They
5.
wanted $1 billion out of it. It ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
Number 5, Homestead. If you're wondering what that is, I'll tell you. Amid chaos,
I certainly am.
ex Green Beret joins prepper compound. Love grows, truth arises, and a community unites.
What?
I still don't know what it is. I read the description. That's
Damn.
interesting. All right, 6 through 10, and then we'll move on real quick. 6 through 10 are as follows. Gladiator 2 still clinging on for dear life, made $4.5 million this week, so that's not terrible.
Wow.
Gladiator, Craven. Let's talk about this for 1 second.
Okay, let's do that.
Well, Craven number 7, Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim number 8. Thank you, Lord of the Rings, for performing. Not at all. I appreciate that. Number 9, the best Christmas pageant ever. Number 10, Queer. I had to make sure I read that right. Yes, Queer. Okay.
What do you think you read wrong?
Yeah.
I did.
You thought it was Queen.
Yeah, I did, or like queer for
Okay.
what queer, but yes,
Jesus.
this is what you people
a-
come for. Happy holidays!
Fucking weird day we're having.
All right, let's talk about Craven.
Let's talk
the
about
Hunter.
Christmas movies. Oh,
Let's talk about Craven the Hunter for 1
Okay.
second. It
Yeah,
is. It's only sitting at a very disappointing 42 million. The budget is. I just googled Craven the Hunter budget. It said 110 to 130, somewhere in that. So look, they're not happy with that at all. I'm sure Sony is not.
Weird.
However, why is that a weird thing, Roger? Tell me what you told us today.
Well, yeah.
oh, first off, so Sony may not be happy about it. I sure am, because that's their problem. Also, Craven the Hunter is on every torrent site today in every resolution available.
Allegedly.
Up to 4K, sir. Allegedly.
Accidentally, yeah.
Allegedly. But yeah, so it's all there, man. So this is the fastest I have seen a movie hit a torrent since
$1 million plus budget movie anyway.
yeah,
It's
well,
quick.
because I mean, something hit Day of not too long ago that was just like, whoa, what happened here? But like, this is the biggest profile one in a while.
So
to come immediately.
you just said that, Grayson. You just said that, like Sony's not happy. Blah blah blah. You know what though? It made what, like 60 million?
They shouldn't be happy though. The movie
42
sucks.
worldwide.
Okay, so it made 42 million worldwide, budget 110, spent money on marketing at some point. Like, I bet that they're okay with this for this reason. Those are delicious, by the way.
Oh, delicious.
I think they're okay with it because they lost 200 million, most likely, like around their total on this exchange.
250 at least.
But they get to keep selling the rights of Spider-Man to Disney and making a profit. This movie probably, in the end, doesn't net them a negative if you
It's a
include
net positive.
what it means for them to keep the rights. They make more money
Sure.
by losing money on this, so they can keep the rights and keep selling them to Disney. So, I mean, did they really
Well, I
lose?
mean,
it's
I mean,
Craven time.
Can we just go one episode without?
No,
It's crazy.
it's so good.
But like same with Lord of the Rings, we talked about like
Yeah.
that $30 million investment is nothing when keeping a $1 billion franchise.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think that's what it comes down to for Sony and these Spider-Man films. Like, you
I
know,
agree.
they got lucky, or they had something in Venom, right? Whatever that was, that they actually got to make some money off of that part of the Spider-Verse that they have rights to. But like this is just a business transaction to them. They're going to spend some money now, not make anything from it, because they're going to keep on making money when they look at the mouse and say, "Hey, it's time to pony up," because Tom Holland's ready for the next Spider-Man film.
it's
With
at,
Venom.
it's at 42. It might trickle to 50 over the next 2 weeks. I seriously doubt it.
Won't.
Well, I mean,
won't.
look, these are 2 big weeks. These are 2 big movie-going weeks, or at least the past has shown that they are 2 big movie-going weeks. It could, but I mean, so there's your box office. Not a whole lot of surprises there. We expected the whole Sonic Mufasa thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some Christmas movies, fellas, as this is the Christmas week again. Happy holidays to all out there celebrating. Roger and Chris, what are some of your go-to Christmas movies? And please don't say Die Hard, for the love of God. Please
Why?
don't say Die.
Is
Or
it-
here's a new one I've heard, Harry Potter, because part of it takes place at Christmas, so it's Christmas. No.
and
Part
excuse-
of basically each Harry Potter has a thing
Yeah.
for Christmas, right?
which is why you
Yeah.
watch all 7, right?
That's right. Every year, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 8 movies actually.
Well,
so-
yeah.
all-
Right, yeah. Still. So like, here's the thing. I love Christmas time. This is my favorite.
You are a Christmas guy. You do
I
love
am.
Christmas.
I am. This is my favorite holiday. You know, all that stuff wrapped up into it. But like, in pun intended. But
No.
I'm not really big on the whole Christmas movie thing. I didn't like the Santa Claus.
I know why that is though.
Do you?
I do.
Because I didn't have a childhood, proper one.
I wasn't going to go that dark. I was going to say because most Christmas movies are bad, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to
I
get
don't-
deeply
Yeah.
psychological,
I
maybe
like
it's
yours
because
But like, so I mean, I've always been a fan of the original animated Grinch, just because
sure
Okay.
it's just I don't
the
know.
old the hand drawn
Yeah, I like that one. But like, I also like Jim Carrey's Grinch. I thought Jim Carrey got to be Jim Carrey in that movie, and so I did like that. Like watching that one growing up. Whenever like anyone else wanted to watch it, so between those two, I really did enjoy those films. But I'm a big Nightmare Before Christmas guy, and some people
So
say
is that a Halloween
some
movie
people say
or
it's a
Christmas
Halloween movie. Some people say it's a Christmas movie.
I could see it
Does it-
both. I could see.
I won't argue either way. I just don't know how.
I
Like,
watch it both times a year, so I think it's fine. I think it's interchangeable. But I
you
think
know,
those would
do
be
you
my,
know that
my
there's
three
a
big ones.
second story for the Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh, is it a fan made
No,
story or
it's a real thing.
Oh, okay.
Because Nightmare Before Christmas is based off a book.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know that. So the book has a direct sequel
Oh, all
about his wife.
So let
Oh,
me just.
So,
right.
so yeah, I read that. I was like, ooh.
Nice.
I will say the one that I've never understood is Elf. I've never understood the fascination for that film. I think it's the
Well, Chris
dumbest.
hates Will
You
Ferrell.
guys know how
Chris
I feel
hates
about
Will
Elf.
Ferrell.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god.
Well, here's the thing.
my sister loves Elf, and I'm like,
My
I
kids
think
watch
turn this shit off.
I think it's dumb funny. Like I laugh because like it's kind of cringe. Like when he's like, "Don't talk to me, Arctic Puffin." Like that's funny because like we don't talk like that. That's why it's like, but it's not a good funny. It's like that's just so dumb. It's funny, kind of funny when he's talking about when he's putting all that syrup on the. Like, come on, man. But that's
On the
what
spaghetti.
that's one I've never understood though. It's like Elf, people's fascination with that. But let me just read you. So here's the top 10 Christmas films ranked.
I don't get to give mine.
Well, no, okay, go ahead. So I was getting you and I.
Well,
already
no, because
left.
listen, I bet you mine's number one.
Don't say. Okay, what is it?
Lethal Weapon?
So
Oh.
no, Die Hard
fuck.
2, no, dumbass. But no, so but the one thing because like I am notorious. Like I'm not anti Christmas or anything, but like I worked retail for so long, like I really soured on Christmas just because people.
Christmas can
it's not
retail
Christmas.
Christmas does that.
It's the people.
Yeah.
But like so every year for like the last 10 or 15 years, me and my wife together watch It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve.
That is number one. Yes.
Look at that.
That is-
So
well, that's very.
I
I'm
mean, like,
surprised
look,
you guys didn't watch
it-
that last year at Marquee.
it is the most iconic Christmas movie. It's what most people consider to be the quintessential Christmas
Yeah.
movie. It checks every box, and it's got legendary actors in it. And it's a timeless movie because like this movie is so old.
It
It's
is.
75 plus years old now, and it still holds up very, very well. So. Yeah,
So-
you know what? We actually talked about going to see it on because it's playing on Christmas Eve again at Marquee. So like we've talked about doing that, but again though, I don't want to be out during Christmas Eve again.
What about you, Grayson? What's yours?
Well, see, I don't have an all-time favorite. I watch The Lord of the Rings every year. My mom and I, when we can, when I'm there, that's our Christmas tradition. Mom and I.
You
we
like
sit
watch them
down,
all or just like
we
any
watch
sort of
all
one?
of we watch all of them. Well, sorry, the
Commitment.
the Fellowship, Two Towers,
It's a
and Return
12-hour ordeal.
Well, it is, but like that's just mom and I. We
I
love.
mean, you got all day to
action.
do it.
Yeah, so that's our thing. Dad's favorite Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life, but hands down, that's like one of his
Right
top
call.
5 movies of all time.
Sure.
But like I go, it just depends on the mood I'm in. Like I don't like A Christmas Story is like also one that like I've never understood. Like I've never agreed with. I've understood why people pulled in such high esteem. I've never really put it there myself.
Yeah.
Like it's on the list, but a movie that I think is something that I enjoy watching with some friends around the Christmas holiday is Bad Santa. Because
Okay.
I'll tell you is,
Sure.
I just
Not the second one though. The second one's terrible.
I just rewatched the second one, and boy, whatever made the first one special, it just by that time it was gone. They made it 10 years later; it was just gone.
Well, yeah,
But-
comedy was changed, but within that
Sure,
time,
yes,
so.
and it didn't adapt. But
Yeah.
the one thing I had forgotten, Roger, like I remembered most of the gags from that film because like they're so outrageous about what's with you and the sandwiches, always sandwiches. I forgot when that woman and her son walk up to him sitting in the food court, and he's like, "Tell Santa what you want for Christmas," and he turns,
fucking eating lunch.
he looks right at the kid, mouth full of food, and just spits food. I'm on my fucking lunch break. Like I had forgotten about that. Hilarious. But that's one that I kind of always enjoy.
When he gets out of the car and all the liquor bottles fall out and he fist fights those kids, and then he's sitting there like it just fast forwards ahead and he's just sitting there. He's like, "I'll beat up some kids today." I feel pretty good about it.
Yep.
And I was just like,
Yeah, well, that
God, yes.
Well, but the backstory of that is because they were picking
Oh no,
on
listen,
Thurman
they deserved
Merman.
it.
Yeah, it's
Do
all
you,
good.
do you
Jesus
remember?
Christ, your name is fucking Thurman Merman.
Just so the top 10 ranked of all time, and this is a list according to where am I? Oh, this is Good Housekeeping. I just thought, why not? But it's
Really in Grayson's wheelhouse.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Carol, which Kate Blanchett and Rooney Mara. I don't think a lot of people know that one is.
Nope.
Number 9, A Christmas Story. Number 8, Nightmare Before Christmas. Number 7, Elf. Why the fuck is Elf on the top 10 list? I don't know. Number 6, Home Alone, which I agree with.
Okay.
Yep.
It's always a solid one.
My
Always
kids
solid.
just watched that for the first time a couple weeks ago.
What do they think? They
loved
like it?
They love it.
Good.
Yeah.
Such a different
Kevin McAllister is Jigsaw.
he's Jigsaw's origin story. Shop Around the
Mhm.
Corner, number 5 from 1940. Number 4, and you guys might not agree with this one. I don't even know if you guys have seen it. Did you guys watch Klaus on Netflix?
I did.
Klaus,
That's
yeah.
that's actually a decent movie.
I actually really like that one. I don't think of number 4.
He's got the
but
big tats up his all
Yeah.
forearms and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miracle on 34th Street. Meet
Okay.
me in
Wait,
St.
hold
Louis.
on. Which one?
The 47.
Okay.
one. That's
Yeah.
the only one they're going to allow on that list, I'm sure. Meet Me in St. Louis, 1944. And then, of course, number 1, Roger's favorite, It's a Wonderful Life. But, like, that one's there for a reason. It's like, I more agree with It's a Wonderful Life being on, like, a top 10 Christmas list more than I agree with Citizen Kane being on, like, a top 3 list of all time. I'm not saying I don't think it should be in the top
bold
5,
statement.
but Citizen, I don't always agree with it being in number 1, but certainly in the
Sure.
conversation for top 3 or top 5, absolutely. But like, It's a Wonderful Life, I think could be on that list and Christmas list and like best of Jimmy Stewart list and like all
Sure.
kinds of lists. But yeah, of course, I'm a big fan of It's a Wonderful Life, and that to me, that's a movie. Chris, we're gonna talk about later is like when I said like no, but that's not a movie to me. Is like that's what I'm talking about. Is like this is where cinema started back in like so I'm sure during the video game discussion we're gonna talk about it. So I just wanted like that's my reference point for like yeah, but it's not a real movie. That's what I'm talking about. So,
Okay.
All right.
what I mean, are there any other traditions you guys do for Christmas? Like, what about anything like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or like the claymation stuff?
We don't really do much of that now.
Yeah, like growing up.
But like my Christmas tree's been up since like the day after Thanksgiving because my
Yeah.
wife loves that shit.
Yeah, yeah, mine does too.
Here's
The,
another question: when is the appropriate day to put up the tree?
The
Let me
day
ask
after
you that.
Thanksgiving.
I would agree
Hey.
with that, but a lot of people don't.
Look, I want you to understand. In my house, I have 2 Christmas trees. One for my front of my house, one for the back of my house because I have 2 large living room areas because I'm very wealthy, extremely wealthy. And so since
humble.
something we've had since God for almost probably 10 years now is we actually have a holiday tree that sits in our bay window.
I've always
That-
I've always kind of liked the
That
idea
was here's the thing.
of the
So like
holiday
we
tree.
do it for at least once a month, maybe every couple of weeks. Like we update it. Like right now, obviously it's Christmas with everything else, but like it was Halloween, it was 4th of July, it was St. Patrick's Day, and like it's fun. Like
Yeah,
that. I was like, look, I'm not a big Christmas guy, obviously, but like doing that for different holidays, it's been fun. Like I've enjoyed it. Like legitimately enjoyed doing that.
I've always liked the I kind of like even though so I love Christmas, but I don't like the whole Christmas tree thing for some reason.
Okay.
I've never liked putting them up. I've never liked decorating them.
Did you have live Christmas trees growing up?
A mixture of both.
Okay, because we did, and I hated the live trees.
Yeah, definitely don't like the live tree thing, especially when spiders come out of it. Not fun. But
no.
We just had cats who like as soon as we put like the first night we went upstairs from decorating it, they knocked everything off. They climbed up it. There are several years we came down and the tree had already fallen. It had been up for less than 24 hours and the cats knocked it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, but like the whole holiday tree thing, I don't know why I like the idea of that. Maybe because it's like it's very themey.
Yeah.
And it's it's whatever you want to make of
it.
You
can put whatever you want to on her, man.
Yeah. Like I kind of like that idea.
I do remember one time though. This will be the last thing we transition on. So like when me and Grayson worked at the movie theater. The one thing we did the one year is we had 3 very large Christmas trees, like 15-foot Christmas trees. Like, I mean, the lobby's huge.
Yeah,
right? And we could decorate them however we wanted, right? So I had gotten a hold of a bunch of 35 millimeter projection film, made it into big, giant black bows.
Okay.
And so they were big bows made of film, and they were streamers down the thing. but it was also the year that the animated Christmas Carol movie came out.
Okay.
The 3D animated one or whatever, the Ron
Jim-
Howard or the
Jim Carrey
Zemeckis one.
one.
Yeah. And so we did 3 trees. We did the past, present, and future.
Oh, okay.
So on the tree where we used the black film, we had a bunch of skulls and stuff, and it like wrapped around up the tree. It was one of the coolest things we'd ever designed. Damn, it's
Nice.
fucking rad.
Yeah.
Like,
That's cool.
yeah, death tree. Yeah,
Tree, baby.
Come in and look at this tree, kids.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
That's also the year we had the train museum come and had a big setup in the lobby
right.
or whatever. That was
Yeah.
really, really cool that year. Working to the movie theater during the holidays was actually a decent amount of fun, besides the fact you had to work Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But that day was also fun because we were busy.
Yeah.
And I love
So-
Goes
I
quick.
love the amount of people that are like, "What do you mean stuff costs money today?"
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's like, no, you want me to give you all this for free?
I
Is that
can't
what you
believe
want?
you guys are open. It's because of you.
No,
Because
that's
of
you.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And it's they look right at us and like, "Oh, you can't go home and spend it with your family." It's like, I can't because you're here. Don't you understand
I
that?
hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you.
This is paradoxal. Thank you.
Yes.
They don't know what that word means. They don't know what that word means.
All right, Roger. This is your week, buddy.
Okay,
Give-
buddy.
Give
So
us a recommendation.
I didn't do a Christmas movie recommendation because I knew we were going to talk about Christmas movies a little bit. So like I went video game adjacent here. So it's not quite a video game movie, but it's very relevant to video games. So the movie I chose to talk about that I think everybody should take a look at just because the animation is pretty cool is Ready Player One, which is as much it is a video game movie as a pop culture and movie and music movie. It really is a story about a guy who lives his life in the VR world, and it's based off a very famous book, which is infinitely better than the movie, unfortunately. But it's just a fun ride from start to finish if you never read the book. So like that's the thing. You ever read that book?
I've not read that book.
Cool.
That movie though.
You ever read that book?
Do you remember who made it?
Ernest Cline.
No. Who made the movie?
Who?
Spielberg.
That's Spielberg. Yeah.
Spielberg,
Sorry.
yeah.
Ernest Cline wrote the book, by the way.
That guy's all right.
Yeah.
Little filmmaker you may have heard of at one point or
Yeah,
another.
yeah,
Spielberg.
He's okay. I mean, I've seen better. Just saying.
I've seen better.
I've seen
What
better.
I remember watching that movie, and because the whole thing of like the weapon that the character, I forget what's the main character's name. The Parzival, was that
Player
right?
one.
Parzival,
Okay.
yeah, player one, yeah,
Or no,
pretty much.
Artemis. When they're doing the final assault on, I forget what the whole premise behind it, but she is using the pulse rifle from Aliens.
Yeah.
And like I felt so vindicated at the time because I was like, that's the best move weapon of all time. I think it's the coolest. It's got the coolest sounds, it's got the most iconic shit. And like I felt so vindicated and like just like, yeah, I was right. This whole time I was right. So that's one thing I remember that the film was like it was a solid movie, but I remember like a lot of those creative like Easter eggs were really cool. And there's so many of them that like it would take a long time to make a list of all the Easter eggs that are in that film.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million. It's like the whole book is just littered with them. So like entirely different things. Like from them using their big giant robots, which is like the My Iron Giant, and the one has like a Mecha Godzilla, and the other one's got the Megazord from Power Rangers, and like all that fucking sweet shit is in there. I mean, like video game movies, video game cars, weapons, all that stuff. That movie, checks a lot of boxes for like nerd nostalgia because like here's the thing, you can tell the guy that wrote it and like was deeply, part of that world, like he knows what he's talking about. And one of the things that I think the movie suffers from is they could only get licensing for so much stuff. So you had to make some concessions and change some stuff to make it fit inside the budget because you know how much it costs to license every single thing you want to license. I mean, because look, it's really cool to have your guy run around with a proton pack, except Sony says no, can't do that.
I'm glad you
$5 million.
So I'm glad you brought that up because, and I know we talked about this during, I think before we started recording last week, is Secret Level on Prime right now.
Sure.
Yep.
Which
I watched the first 3 of those, and I was actually, I didn't expect to like it, because I kind of didn't want to, but
It's weird.
I
It's weirdly enjoyable though,
I
right?
thought they were really, they're not. I was expecting to be like 40. They're not. They're 10 to 15.
the longest one is
Easy-
18 minutes.
Yeah.
easily digestible. And I got to
Yep.
be honest, that second one for Sifu,
Sifu.
I loved that episode, how it ended,
Yeah.
how like there's
Yeah.
so much complexity going on in
Mhm.
8 minutes
Yep.
of storytelling. I was
Yeah.
so impressed.
So
By that
like
one.
real quick, the first one is the D&D episode,
Yep.
right? Which whether the story is good or digestible in that 15
Looks
minutes,
fucking
it
incredible.
looks amazingly
Well,
well done.
It's a love letter to all geeks and nerds who like
Oh,
Dungeons and Dragons.
absolutely.
Like it's
Nerds.
but there's points in that like there was points when I was watching like I was like, is this real? Like I can't.
Yeah.
It looks so good. It
So-
almost looks photorealistic.
It is
Some
real.
of the close-up shots on that gnome mage it looks like you could reach out and touch it because the
agree.
CGI is so good. But like that one you watch Sifu. The third one, I can't remember what the third one was off the top of my head.
The once and future King Arnold voices.
Oh, the New World one, which is
New
Amazon's
World.
video
Yep.
game, actually. So like
Yeah.
it makes sense that they did an episode about New World, which I thought was funny, right? It has some comedy to it. So you didn't watch the Unreal Tournament episode yet, which is number 4.
I started.
That one's
I-
awesome.
That one's good.
So
That was
like
really
as
good.
much as I dug the Warhammer one, I think the Unreal Tournament one is it's a great story.
It's got more depth.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it really
fucking
does.
rad.
But
Did you watch the Pac-Man one?
yeah,
Whoa,
that one's dark.
That's dark as hell.
But like, Grayson, watch these first off.
I
Finish
will.
them.
They're not. I thought they were going to be longer, so I didn't budget. If I had budgeted
Yeah.
earlier, if I'd known they were going to,
Yeah.
I could have finished all of them.
But that Warhammer one, dude, that's
Perfection.
that gives me hope for the episode that is planned. But like to pull this back into the conversation we're having, right? Because I could gush about that Warhammer one for hours for an 8-minute episode. But the fact that we're talking about going from like Ready Player One as your movie recommendation, which has a lot of Easter eggs and
It does.
has a lot of little love letters to like people that like really like enjoy the space of like that kind of media, to having an actual like event on Amazon, how they've brought together all of these different bodies of work and then made these just long enough to make you want more snip episodes that involve these properties. Like I watched the Mega Man one and I couldn't stop smiling the entire time. It's like it's one of the shortest ones.
Mega Man's your boy.
But like I love Mega. I got a tattoo of Mega Man on my arm. Like it's just like the character means so much to me from like what I used to like really dig into and enjoy, about video games, the challenge and like how hard the game was and how bad I wanted to beat it, how cool the character was and all that kind of stuff. Like the fact that like
Mega Man is hard as shit, by the way.
it is, and like we've gone from
I don't think. I mean, it depends on what you're
most of them are
notoriously difficult, especially X and X2, which are my
Hold
favorites.
on. I could run through all of those almost blindfold. I played them all so many. I never found them. As long as you have the right monster order, the boss order,
I'll let you
easy as hell.
I'll let you borrow my Mega Man collection, and I want
I have it.
I want to see how long it takes.
When you're in studio, we'll fire it up. And see how-
Okay, yeah.
Here's the thing: Mega Man 9 and 10, the ones that were made like during the PS3, Xbox, those are difficult as hell. Those are difficult, but they're made to be difficult. But I would even say like Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3, I could see those as like if there's a short list, top 5 games of all time, one of those, if not both of them, is on that list.
There is a Mega Man one or two Mega Mans that are on like a top 25 of all time.
And
easily.
I did the Mega Man X.
Men?
I did the Mega Man X run without getting hit. I haven't done that for 2, but I could do a Mega Man X without ever taking damage. Ever.
Mega Man X is probably the one I have the most time. Also, one of the best soundtracks in a video game.
I 100% agree.
But anyway. But like the point I'm getting to is it's like we've come from. Like think about where like this all started. It didn't start with the Super Mario Brothers movie, like
No.
the one back in like the 80s or whatever, Super Mario Brothers or whatever what they was called.
Mario Bros.
Yeah, like that was the first like major video game movie that most people point to as like hey, you remember that thing?
Disgusting.
Like, and it's like that's where we started.
Barf.
That also scared Nintendo away for like 2 decades.
True, but like that's where we
As is their right.
yeah,
sure.
but like that's where we started with bringing video games into the movie space. And over the years, and for a long time, it was bad, right? And it was bad, and that was the excuse was, well, it's a video game movie,
like
it was
laughably bad. Like horrendous.
it's like a shoulder shrug kind of. It's a video game movie, right? Like there was no expectations, no one took them seriously because video games haven't been taken seriously until like our generations have kind of come to the fold.
Yeah,
right?
when we got to be in charge, be like, wait a minute, these don't have to be bad.
Yeah, these aren't as these mean something to people, right? And it's like Resident Evil is one of like the markers of like the step into taking it somewhat seriously. All the ones that followed the first Resident Evil,
Yeah.
they're all iffy,
Yeah, Resident
shoddy.
Evil was something that I was going to bring up
Mhm.
as is an important step for the video game because like the very first Resident Evil movie like changed
2002,
perceptions
right?
of a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing though, there are like 7 Resident Evil movies.
Oh God, yeah,
7.
yeah.
I mean, like, look, they do get progressively
They
worse.
do.
But
They do
they
the Saw
were
thing.
extremely popular
Yep.
as well.
Mhm.
And that really opened the door for some stuff. But here's the thing though, we still to this day get terrible video game
Oh,
adaptations.
yeah,
And we don't have
yeah.
to. Like
Well, here's
we
the- I mean,
don't have to do that.
it's hard to.
Yeah, but
it's
we
har-
also
But here's the thing, like, well, just my Chris. Let me give me one
yeah.
point.
Go.
It's
You're
like
good.
I've since day one of downloading and playing on release day The Last of Us. I was like,
Mhm.
this is storytelling at its finest. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
in the game world. There's like 2 or 3 I would consider Metal Gear Solid, The Last of Us, and maybe something of like 6 in my head that like that's the creme de la creme of storytelling in game. Those are the Citizen Kanes of gaming. It's like,
Hmm.
I mean, Last of Us is a benchmark, but like you see
Sure.
Last of Us is what happens when you take something seriously. Now,
I-
Last of Us had the advantage of like being already kind of grounded in the real world to begin with.
I
So
wouldn't say Last of Us is the benchmark. I'd say Last of Us is some of the top tier actually, because you know, and I'm not a huge Last of Us guy or Sony guy, but like Last of Us, in the terms of its ability to tell a story, not much does it better than Last
No,
of
it's
Us.
pretty
Like
good.
if someone wanted to, like, if I asked 100 people what the best video game story is they've ever experienced, and if half of them told me Last of Us, I'd accept that. You know what I mean? It's up there. Like the benchmark is lower than that, right? But even then, they're impressive pieces of work. Like, so like, are you saying Last of Us is it was like the first time you really felt like the storytelling could be right in the
no,
could be
that
at like
because
a high level?
that was 2013. You mean like playing the game? No, there were several before that, but like
Okay, okay.
that's the one I was like, well, Metal Gear Solid
Metal
98
Gear
is like
Solid, probably, yeah.
that was already a movie. I mean,
Mhm.
I mean, like Metal Gear Solid 4 is very infamous for being like it's a walking sim where you go from one place to another, 45-minute cutscene, 45-minute
Yeah.
cutscene, for like, but like it's done in a way that like it's so good though and
Yeah.
compelling and
Well,
gripping.
because Hideo wanted to tell a story finally, like
Yeah,
in
sure.
that way, and
Yeah.
he got denied to make a movie. So he was like, fine, I'm gonna make a fourth Metal Gear Solid game. Watch me work. Like
Yeah.
that's what he did with
But
that.
that's the
This is what
thing
we can do.
so I just sent you guys a list. I don't. So
Yeah.
this is according to Rotten Tomatoes. Look at the worst. Look at the bottom
Yeah.
of the barrel.
It's terrible.
1% Alone in the Dark.
Oh.
It's 1%.
God.
But like the worst 2 films. Look at the director.
Yep.
Uwe.
Uwe Boll. Like it's House of the
Uwe.
Dead is just it's complete.
Awful.
I remember what it's awful, but it's fun. I
That
mean,
movie has a cult following, though. You know what I
So
mean?
that movie legitimately, when it came out, I had just graduated college. I was home and I was on a double date with my buddy and his girlfriend, and
That's what you chose.
yeah. Well, no. Here's the thing. So this is the part of the story
Okay.
is we couldn't decide on a movie, so he chose. We were just like, hey man, because like I was like, pick whatever. Like I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and we picked that movie. Like legitimately, like we left because it's so bad, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is your fucking fault. I was like, you did this. He's like, what was I supposed to say? Blah. And I was like, no, man, this is on you.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
terrible.
so back to what Grayson was saying a little bit, and I think just to kind of build off of it, the first video game that I played that I really thought, okay, this is like I wish this was a book, or I want this to be a movie,
Mm-hmm.
was Final Fantasy X.
Sure.
Like I played
Yeah, of course.
I played all the
Excellent.
Final Fantasies. I played Tactics and stuff. I think it was because of Tactics being in sprite form. It was a little harder for me to have that connection.
Sure.
But like Final Fantasy X's storytelling ability and the graphics of the PS2 being ahead of its time was such a good I connected with like the characters in a game for the first time in the way that I had cartoons and anime growing up. It was a weird experience where like, this is cool. I want to play more games like this, and that's what kind of got me to go down like different gaming
well,
paths and
it
get
was
away from the
made.
usual stuff I played.
That was made to be because like I'm sure like I mean knowing what I know about the history of the PS2 is like speak. That was when Square was loyal to Sony after it
Yeah,
left Nintendo, and like they said, because like all the games around that time, Metal Gear Solid 2, Final Fantasy 10, there's like 5 others within that 2-year span were like super cinematic, and like
Yeah.
they told a story, like a story literally unfolded in front of you. Not like the old Final Fantasy where like it was top down sprite based, where like you can kind of get into the story, but like there's nothing to really, because the characters were different. But like 10 brought it to like the story was one that we could relate to, and like that's, I mean, I agree with you, Final Fantasy 10, but I mean, it's again, that's one, it's like one of the 4 that I could be like, that's excellent, man.
Yeah, well, like that was the first big one, but then like from there, like the video game media and its ability to tell stories just keeps growing from the PS2 era, right?
Well,
of course.
The counter to that is we get these people right now, which is something I do want to bring up for the video game discussion in general, is so like we have seen what can be done, right? Like we have seen the top tier stuff, like, you know, like Last of Us storytelling is incredible, right? I mean, we watched the Super Mario's movie make $1.5 billion, right? Like, we know if you do these correctly, they can be very financially successful. And like, here's the thing: like, I'm not going to try to say like Super Mario is like the best movie, because like it's okay, it's fine, but it does everything it needed it to do. It looks awesome. It's very iconic. You know, every little tiny box it checked off, and people were like, "Yes, we want to go see it."
It paid homage. It paid homage to the fans.
It did what it was supposed to do,
and that's what it had to accomplish.
But the other thing is too is we also get so many people like, "Well, it's a video game. Let's make it a movie."
Oh yeah,
and they're like, "But I've never played the game. I've never watched the movie either.
I'm gonna helm this ship."
Yes,
yeah.
But it's so like, but that's the thing. Like, there is no excuse now if you want to put something in that is a video game, that is especially an A-level video game. And I'll just use Halo as an example.
I was gonna bring up Halo
because, like, look, in Halo, Master Chief never takes his fucking helmet off. You know how many episodes of the episodic show before he took his helmet off?
3, wasn't it?
3.
Well, I thought it was 1.
It's like 3.
Well, it's like, again, it's but at that point, how do you not, like, we were so far past the point of like, no, we understand that, like, Hollywood understands a little bit now. They know we're past this bullshit. But I mean, I don't understand. That's what everyone says is like, why'd you cast Pablo Schreiber? You're not going to show. Oh no, you're going to show.
They are going to show him. Yep, exactly. So like in all honesty, how long if you guys sat down today, how long would it take you to beat Halo 1, 2, and 3? Like just like the easiest roundabout. No nerd flexing.
Definitely less than 10, maybe 8 hours.
I could do it in a day. Probably run all 3 of them.
Right. So like, how come Paramount in Hollywood didn't, even if
a big fucking studio, by the way,
even if you didn't like Halo and you're taking the job as a paycheck, what is stopping you from sitting down and spending 2 days, because maybe you're not good at video games, to play through these games and find out why people connect to connect to what you're doing? Because there are so many cinematic moments in video games. Halo is the example here. There's so many cinematic moments, big moments that the game developers set up for you to experience and play through as Master Chief in Halo 1, 2, and 3, that like of course they made a show.
Dude, a live action version of The Fall of Reach. Come on, dude.
Yeah, right. It's like it's all there for you to kind of like have the crib notes for, but so many people don't take it seriously.
That's the thing. It's like, I mean,
we run into that.
That's the thing. It's like, I mean, I personally, because I'm me being a PlayStation guy, like I've always like where we are now is like, come on, I could told you this shit back in 2001 what was going to happen to PlayStation and Xbox. Are you kidding me? But it's PlayStation took it seriously when Xbox didn't, and that's the problem, because like PlayStation took the narrative storytelling and they kind of got in that niche with like narrative storytelling, and the Xbox kind of didn't for so long. That's why PlayStation 3 era was full of games like Last of Us, and it just like
Uncharted. Uncharted was a great. Here's the thing, which is also a disaster of a movie.
Correct. But like, let me ask. So, House of the Dead. If you're looking at a script and Roger, they're like, man, you know what House of the Dead is? You know, like you can't really. I mean, that is the story of House of the Dead.
Yeah, a fucking rail-based shooter. Why would you even want that to be a video game movie?
If you were like, you know what, let Uwe do it. It's fine. Like you can't mess it up that bad.
We'll give you $10 million. Can you do it?
I was going to do it for 7.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I keep 3.
It's like, hold my chips. But then there's as Mario Brothers being as infamous as it is in the video game adaptation world,
disaster.
It's number 25 out of 50. So
Yeah.
that's the no. I lied. 54. So
There's more
let's just
that are worse.
Warcraft is 24.
See, that
So-
one hurts me. But
So here's the thing with the
personally-
Warcraft movie, and I'm not trying. This is not an indictment on Warcraft,
Yeah.
but from what I know about it, because like I have seen the Warcraft movie, and it's not very good.
It's not.
But from what I understand, though, like it is very accurate, right?
It's accurate.
To the certain part of Warcraft that is not what people wanted the story to be, right?
No, yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
It's
okay.
Lore-wise, it is accurate.
Yeah. So
lore accurate movie, bare bones in terms of what people are interested in. Like
it started at
lore-wise,
the beginning, and people were like, "We want you to start Warcraft 3."
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They wanted to see Henry Cavill
But,
as Arthas
of course,
murder
yeah.
an entire
But
village
that
of
movie
people.
may also, well, they'll never make another one. It still made a ton of
Because
money
you have-
internationally.
Because sometimes they're right when they say, "Well, this is safe because we have a built-in audience."
Yeah.
Which then leads them to not taking it seriously. Sometimes I think that's how that formula comes together.
Yeah.
But like eventually, you get to a state where all of a sudden something kind of turns, and now we get more successful video game movies than we're getting the bad ones anymore.
Yeah.
Which has been a wonderful era to be a part of.
It is nice.
From when the first Sonic movie does come out. What, like 4 years ago now, maybe 5 years ago now. Jeez, yeah, because I was still working at GameStop.
Yeah.
So
Bullying works.
So going back to then, yeah, right, because we got the weird press release of what they wanted
Toothy
Sonic to look like,
the originals,
which looked like a goddamn gremlin that had been up. That had
it was
been
nice
up
for
all
him to
night
make
in
an
bed.
appearance in Chippendales, the Rescue Rangers movie.
But then, but all of a sudden, they got the memo. They
Mhm.
made the adjustments. And then we got like a surprisingly fun kids movie with Sonic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it has just gotten more and more successful. And
Yeah.
third movies, it is what it is.
Well,
but,
they're all on.
they're
They're
fun.
on this list. That's the
Sure,
thing.
should
It's like
be.
they're on. Sonic, for example, is Sonic 2 is number 4.
Okay, I thought it was 3, but
No, and Sonic 3 is number 2 as
Sonic
like
3?
the best video game movie adaptations of this list. Yeah, this is on the Rotten Tomatoes too. So,
okay.
but it's like
So-
it just sorry.
But-
But
no,
Mario's
it's okay.
number 8. The Mario's the one from April of
new one?
2023.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was number 1?
It's got to be Last of Us.
No, that's an episodic.
That's
We're not-
doesn't count
okay,
as a
okay,
movie.
okay.
Werewolves Within, which I did not see in 2021.
Huh. All right.
I watched
I
it.
played it. Honestly, I haven't seen it. I got to be honest
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
So maybe I
But-
need to check out that movie. Huh?
Maybe you do. Yeah.
So
Okay.
Tomb Raider, which I thought was actually decent, is number
Hold on.
number 10.
Which one?
Yeah.
The one with Alicia Vikander.
Okay, so that's a fine movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. The other
But
ones
was-
are
see, Laura
not.
Croft. I was like, we're talking about Angelina Jolie because like there's a
Yeah.
reason that movie got made and they
Yeah.
ain't good.
Is that the
So-
one where she curves the bull, or is that a different movie?
That's
that
Wanted.
Oh, that's right.
which is a shitty, awful movie that I fucking love.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
really?
It's like, yeah, it's so bad. I love it.
Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat number 9.
I was gonna say I wanted to mention
Hold on.
Mortal Kombat.
Which one?
The one from
The original.
2021. Come
The
on,
original.
man.
Wait, the 2021?
Yeah, that's number 9.
Really?
We didn't even talk about like Street Fighter. No, we don't have time to talk about all these benchmarks and stuff. But
No.
yes, number 9 is Mortal Kombat. Number 8 is Mario, as we previously mentioned. Number 7 is Sonic from 2020.
All right.
Okay.
That's and number 6, Gran Turismo, which I
Yeah.
agree with.
Gran
So-
Turismo Gran Turismo captured the heart of what like the video game movie could be
Yeah.
from like a what does this look like, like supporting the product and putting it into a film in some way.
Yeah.
And racing kind of works for that.
Well, that's
so.
the Gran Turismo is the Last of Us adaptation of Gran Turismo. Like it could have
Yeah,
been a
yeah.
whole lot worse. And like I've even heard there's Mario Kart movie in the making too, which I don't even know how they're
I
going to
hope
do.
so.
I mean, they do Mario Kart
They
in.
do.
They
They
do.
In, yeah.
So-
So,
They tested it
Detective
in their own film.
Detective Pikachu is number 5.
I love that movie though. That's
Yeah.
a good movie.
I've talked about that movie a few
Listen,
times.
and
yeah.
there should be a second one.
I don't think
I
we're
don't-
going to see it.
I don't think
it's
we'll ever
scrapped.
get. But I bet you that with the success of the Mario Brothers movie, that there will be Pokemon.
But we
movies
need a live
in the
action
future.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Number 4, Sonic 2. Number 3, you guys want to take? Do you guys know what it is? Please tell me you don't.
I have no idea.
You could guess all day and you wouldn't. The Angry Birds movie 2.
I cannot believe that thing even charts.
I
but,
don't
alright.
even I have seen it. I am bewildered right now. I got to be honest. Number 2.
Praise Jason Sudeikis.
That's right. Number 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which we're going to talk about mere moments from now. But that's a general list of. There's a lot of stuff missing, and if you ask me, misranked. I don't
Okay.
think half this stuff is like. I think I'm always going to be I wrote a thesis on this film, The Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I think that movie's much better than people give it credit for.
That movie's complete trash. Me and you have fought about this before.
We will fine. We should do an episode on this, but
Yeah.
I would say suggest it's not a 2, that it's a 6 or a 7. But I mean, that's just my whole thing.
Well,
but
so before we transition to Sonic, I have one question to ask you guys.
Yeah.
shoot.
And I don't need like a big production or whatever. Like if you had to pick one video game to make into a movie or an episodic, what would it be? Because I know what I would pick.
Well, what would you pick?
So right off, and I prefer it be an adaptation of like episodic.
Yeah.
I think Gears of War would translate very well.
Gears is coming though. Isn't it coming?
Well, that I have heard that for 15 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard that since Gears.
So
2.
until I see somebody standing there with a fucking Lancer revved up, like it ain't coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I like that would be my first thing. I think would like translate really, really well.
Yeah.
To an episodic at least.
Okay.
I think if they tried to push it into a movie, they try really too hard, and it wouldn't work. So
no, I think episodic might work for that because like there are story in each of those games have like
long
story beats, but like they're like separated by beats. So like you could
Yes.
definitely do episodic. 100%.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean what I want versus what I think they should do.
Mhm.
The thing is Metal Gear Solid, and like I've worked on a lot of Sony movies, and like I'm the Sony executive, the finance exec guys, like they know very much that I want to be on that film, and like I've told them, and I'm loyal to them, and like they know I want to be on that film. They keep telling me when it's.
Would Metal Gear be a movie or an episodic though? Because I think it fits better as an episodic.
I disagree. I think Metal Gear fits each of them, 1 or 2 films. I'm worried that they destroy it because you cannot take out any of the dialogue and the story just doesn't make any sense.
It's not often that I agree with Grayson, but I think Metal Gear fits as a movie more than episodic because Metal Gear feels to me like the grittier version of like Mission Impossible.
Well, here's the thing: it is really it would be large budget. I just think like the stories tend to be so broad. You know what I mean? Like so much stuff happens in a Metal Gear movie or Metal Gear thing. I think like you can't just be like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you could do like an entire movie about just about like
imagine doing
like
Sons of
Wolf,
Liberty or Phantom Pain. Like you can't 3 hours. You can't do that.
It's why you'd have to break them up in different films. But here's the thing: it's like, and just to be clear, I don't mean Metal Gear I mean Metal Gear Solid that started in '98 with.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean they've gone back and re-looked at those previous games, but like that's the one but that's just my opinion. Like I think the storytelling there is it's already a movie. All you gotta do is write it. Like all you gotta do is translate the dialogue into workable. But
which is very difficult for some people.
Is Kurt Russell your Snake?
No, but like that's the funny thing is
no, it's Oscar Isaac.
God, no, Jesus.
Why?
The
he looks exactly like him.
Look, I don't care who they do. If the voice isn't what we know, then the character is gone. Like that's the whole thing is so.
I know who it's going to be.
Kojima approached. Just kill me now. Just kill me now. I quit. I'm done with movies if that's the case.
I just wanted to say I wanted to go Yahoo one time as Snake.
Mario.
Or like this high pitched voice of like just like saying a very iconic Snake line. Yeah, of course. But
imagine him getting shot at in cover by getting shot at by Sniper Wolf, and he's like got that high pitched Chris Pratt like surprise voice for a second. Oh, it'd be so good.
Just there doing the Mario voices. He's ripping cigarettes.
This is Snake. Yeah, I can't. But so Kojima approached for Metal Gear Solid 3 that goes back in time. To 64, the beginning of the franchise. He approached because the whole character is based around Snake Plissken from the Escape from series.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell.
He shares the name. Yeah.
He approached Kurt Russell about it, and Kurt immediately said no. And then Kurt
Russell's like, I'm 8. Oh no.
I've seen interviews of Kurt Russell's like, I didn't even know what it was. Like, and then like I played the games and I loved them, but it was too late. It was already like it's like that's such a shame. Like again, proof that like at one point they were like Kurt Russell's like, I can't do a video game movie. Like, what do you like?
Yeah,
that's a shame that that thought process kills a lot of creativity. I think in Hollywood.
It's one of the reasons why I have such a man crush on Henry Cavill because like he loves the things he gets into and it's legitimate passion for the things that he's into, right? And that's what gives me hope for like everything he touches, whether it be Superman, The Witcher, and all that kind of stuff. Because I know he takes it seriously. I want to answer this question. I have 2 answers.
So you didn't answer. So
I have 2 answers, and like if you don't know what I'm talking about,
how many are Warhammer?
Hold on, none of them
Okay.
are Warhammer. I'm trying to. I'm thinking video game sphere only. So,
Okay.
I have two of them. First one is if you've never played these games, you two, I implore you to just one day YouTube like some of the cutscenes from these. These are games from like years, like the Diablo series. Actually, would be a really fantastic episode. I think that one would fit better for episodic because it covers a very
Diablo, sure, because they have large
range.
scale.
Yeah,
I played Diablo 4.
Okay. So like the cutscenes in that alone could lend to their own stories, and like it just I like the whole angel demon dynamic,
Sure.
and it goes into a like good and evil. What is good and evil? I think it's a great
Blood for the blood god.
You know, like just like think. You said no Warhammer. Think for the story. So I think Diablo would be a good pick for that reason. But then I also think that the other like another game series is near and dear to my heart, but Secret Level does one of these, and it's Armored Core.
Armored Core is so good. Oh my god.
I mean, with if taken seriously and done on a big scale, the lore of Armored Core, if
It's
you
great.
like,
It's wonderful.
so many people don't know the actual story of what who the Ravens are when you play as one, and what had actually happened to Earth to put like the characters where they are. The lore of Armored Core is amazing. It's deep and it's very interesting, and to be done big budget and done right, to like have like everybody worldwide loves the whole giant mech suit crap.
Everybody
right?
loves it.
Gundam's been a long running thing for so long. Armored Core as a series has been around since the PlayStation 1.
Mech Warrior.
Yeah, Mech Warrior stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
it would be a fantastic set of movies or even a series. I think it would blow people's minds if done right.
I think there's like 2 or 3 franchises that would have been chosen ahead of it, but one of it killed itself was Titanfall. Like that's one that like I could have.
Titanfall's good.
But like that's also great, but like they're never bringing that back. It's gone.
So I love it. You're like, we could make this a movie. I was like, just give me a third game, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that's
right,
all
yeah.
I want. I want you to pick up immediately after 2.
Yep.
You
Like,
know, like,
let's
it's funny.
go.
I never played the first one, but like
It doesn't matter.
You didn't need to.
from
Two
the
was
time
everything.
from the time I had my coffee 8 a.m. I started playing it. By 4 p.m. that day I was done with. Like I was that. I just kept going, and it was
Yeah.
Two is
Such-
such
Yep.
a fucking
2
great.
was my when I worked at GameStop. Titanfall 2 was my favorite game to recommend to someone. Was like, listen, man, I'll buy anything you recommend me. Give me something cool. I want a good shooter. I'm like, listen, you're gonna laugh at me, but I want you to leave with Titanfall 2. I was like, if you return this within 30 days, you don't got to pay for it. If you buy it pre-owned, grab that game and play it. I guarantee you keep it. And I think like 99 out of 100 people were like, dude, you were right. Titanfall was the shit.
Titanfall 2 is one of the games that I have on every system that I own.
Because
Like,
it's that damn good.
I do.
right?
I have it on my PlayStation. I
Yeah.
have it on my Xbox. I even have it on my PC because it's so.
People to
fucking
this
good,
day
man.
still sleep on Titanfall. They
It's
have no idea.
good. It's very good. So here's the thing. So I've just written down in my notes video game episode in the future because like we could do this for like 7 hours. And
Sure, really
still
could.
not- But like that's the thing is we need to move into Sonic. But there are
Yep, we
so many untapped stories in the game world that like you have to be a little careful. Like Metal Gear, I talked about Metal Gear Solid. That's one like you cannot deviate from the parameters. But
Yeah.
other things like Sonic, they deviated and it worked. You know what I mean? Like it
Well-
works to its. But let's go into it.
Yeah.
Wait, what were you going to say? Well,
Well, I was just gonna say like it's like you're not make a lot of times with these properties you shouldn't be making a movie that's based on this game. You should be looking to find out why the ones that are popular and successful with its fan base are as big as they are, because there's a
agree.
reason there. Usually there's some sort of hook, there's a character that people connect with, there's a story that people latch onto. There's almost always something that is very clear if you just let yourself be open to discovering
Yep.
why. You don't have to be in. My wife doesn't play video games. She used to play Mario back in the day. She doesn't really play much. Like I've tried to get her into a couple things, but like when I am playing these games or I'm talking about these things because it's what I'm into, like she gets it because she can see where the big ideas and the big story elements, like, oh yeah, no, I get it. Like that makes a lot of sense. And like that's what's important about these things, that a lot of people just more and more we're getting people that connect with them this way, but up until now people just didn't take them seriously.
Well, that's the thing is like I remember I watched so many interviews with the guys who made Last of Us. Is like they talked about how after they made that, they saw like a 6,000% increase because they for so many weeks after that launched, they put both games on sale on the store, and they're like it sold like 6,000%.
And they're like, time for a remaster.
That's
Yeah.
right. Then they remade. Yeah, but that's the thing is like
Last of Us is
even-
the most remastered game of all time.
It
Oh
is.
god, it is. It is. But like Sonic's not going to be one of those examples. But like Borderlands, I just listened to a podcast talking to IGN was talking to the makers of Borderlands, and IGN's like, did it matter when you made this? Like, no, the movie didn't make any money, nor did it do anything critically. But goddamn, if we didn't sell, that game sold like an extra 4,000% copies. They're like that totally made up for the whole budget of the film.
You can
And
look
they just announced Borderlands 4
Yeah,
you
and
can
last
it's-
week.
You,
So, like-
you can look you can look at the Steam charts for
Yeah.
player base and look at the release day of the Borderlands movie, and it's 1-to-1 increase. It spikes
So
instantly.
that's a big one, though. I'm happy that that's a metric that we can measure because we will get more game movies. Even if they don't do well, they will increase the sales of the game on the store, on the Xbox store, on the Nintendo store,
Mhm.
yada. And like that's one positive thing that comes from this. I mean, if there is
Yeah.
positive, that's certainly one.
I
of them.
mean, Pokemon has to be coming, right?
It needs to be.
Has to be.
I would
I'm
have
ready
thought
for one.
by now
ready.
I thought by now at least 2 movies would have been made, but maybe they don't want to. Maybe Nintendo's like, no, we don't need to. It's selling.
think-
I mean, Zelda's
billions.
next. So
don't break people's hearts, man. I listen.
I don't think
like,
you want that. I gotta be
as-
honest. I don't.
No,
think you want that.
no. I do want it, but
Nope.
I want it done right. But I think I'm willing to bet we get Metroid before we get Zelda on screen.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly because we've seen that like there are big celebrities that are interested in being in the Zelda movie.
Tim
So,
Chalamet, Link.
No.
Tom Holland.
I still want Holland as Link, man. It
Well,
fits.
Link's a silent protagonist, so it doesn't matter. Does it matter? Isn't Link a silent protagonist in most of the games?
Yeah, but I still think that the person playing him, I think Holland fits better that build and that character look.
Sure.
It's
than
dangerous to
Chalamet
go
does.
alone.
Yeah, take this. Yeah.
I
Hey,
don't-
listen. Yeah. Hey. It's just one of those. It's again. I think that's one that it's not adaptable. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just man. Those games are so special when they come out that I think you'd ruin the specialness. Especially the ones on the Switch. Those games are good. Like those are excellent games.
Ocarina, baby.
I
That's
think-
the game.
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of
for
Time is
sure.
absolutely the number one for me.
In
But
the game.
we've been talking long in the tooth about games.
Talk about Sonic.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
Sonic. You guys are going to be surprised about this. Have you seen the Rotten Tomato scores?
I have
No,
not
but
looked at
apparently
any
it
of
must be
these.
higher than I think because where it fell on your list that you sent us there.
It's 86% on the tomato meter.
Wow.
The critic meter, 86%. The
Dang.
popcorn meter, 98. I want to know who those two a-holes are like, no, this didn't do it for me. And so they cost us the 100% on the,
I
on
mean,
the
so
popcorn
no-
meter.
Hold on.
I
Was
can-
it me?
Yeah, okay. I can get why someone would be like, nah, you know what I mean? I get it, but I'm going to talk about that.
I
when we
was
talk about it.
semi-serious.
But the
I got-
Metacritic,
I'm not a big fan of this.
the Metacritic is a 59.
I mean, that's still fairly high.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
so, but before we get into it, let's do our thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to go first?
We just do it right now. Just
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
You're a thumbs down, Roger.
I
That's
am.
thumbs
I am, and I'll tell you why.
A
I'll
big
tell you
Debbie
why.
Downer guy.
Well, no, it's here. Okay, so I mean, I'll just tell you right now. Like, look, I think the other two Sonic movies are great, and
Yeah.
I think this falls very much in line with the other two movies.
Okay.
But like, there is so much wild shit happening in
Oh,
this
yeah.
movie,
Oh, yeah.
and
This is
it's
over the
like,
top.
and I know this is going to sound really dumb when I say it,
Okay.
but there are large swatches of the first two movies that are grounded somewhat in reality. Okay. By the time we get to the end of this movie, brother, we are off the rails.
We're,
Listen.
we're in space and we're flying around.
they
We're
did
fighting
nothing
another
different.
planet.
we broke the moon.
They did nothing different than Fast 10.
I mean, Chris
Fast
is
10's
right.
fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it went to the moon. Why
Sure.
can't Sonic go to the moon?
Well,
If Fast 10 can go to the moon.
At least I understand why they can go to the moon.
Yeah. The
But like,
Pontiac-
look,
Pontiac
listen,
era,
like
yeah.
there are very cool things that happen. It's like when they are both super, like that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. That was Goku versus
Like
Vegeta.
yeah, exactly what it was. Right? Like I told my wife, I was like, "Watch fucking Dragon Ball. Watch fucking Dragon Ball."
That's why I'm watching it.
Yeah, we're watching Dragon Ball, but like, there's just a point where like you see every step of the story happening before it unfolds. Like it just didn't resonate with me like the other two.
Okay.
So like maybe a thumbs down is too harsh, but like
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
have a
that's
hard
something.
time giving it like a positive score. Like if we were doing a numerical out of 100, I put it like dead nuts like 50.
Okay.
Like it's okay.
Well, that's the thing.
It never is better than okay to me.
I
Okay.
I understand it. The problem is I just enjoyed it so much that I couldn't give it a thumb. When everything's factored in. I mean, like, what do you expect from Sonic? This is what I'm trying to ask
Well-
you. Is like from the Last of Us adaptation, I expect perfection. I expect the bar so goddamn high, and I expect things that are only in the universe and no other. But like this shit, if it's there in space station's blowing up, they're on the moon. Who cares? I mean, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, man. I'm not expecting a grounded story, a best picture winner story.
Well, what I expect and didn't get is I expect an actual story about Shadow.
Okay.
And like we don't get that. You get to see more about what happens to Shadow in a 30-second thing when stuff blows up. But like, why does he get trapped in a fucking like? Why is he trapped in the tube? Like what happened?
They feared
understand.
him. They
Well,
feared him.
Okay, they blew it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the things. Like I don't understand. Like there is so much stuff that doesn't make any sense, and I know it's stupid to complain about that in a movie about fucking a speedballing hedgehog, but like the other stories tended to explain more of that stuff, and this one just doesn't do it.
Well,
Well, no, so-
I completely agree with you 100%.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. So I don't disagree with your points there. The thing is the way that I felt about this film as I'm watching, because I thought kind of the same stuff. There's things I have a problem with this film too. I don't think this is the best Sonic movie.
It's not.
You know what I mean? So like there's that, but like I think this movie is unabashedly a movie for kids.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So that's the thing. So again,
Yeah.
though, I am looking at it through a different frame.
Yeah.
But yes, this is a kids movie or at
Yeah.
best a
But
family
like,
movie.
well,
Did you take your kids?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. What do they think? They like it?
They loved it. They both loved it.
Fuck
But
yeah.
like, so, well, I mean what I said though. Like, this movie is unabashedly a kids movie. Where like some movies you go to that are kids movies, they do their very best to pretend like they're not, or like give this veneer that it's like this is a family film. This thing is not that. This is a movie for kids that has Sonic in it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't shy away from that. It doesn't even try to. It has things that are unexplained or not explained well. It has these weird things that don't have any rules
And a
to them.
surprising amount of death.
And there's so that was for Grayson, but like
The
it's
sacrifice,
like,
absolutely.
yeah. So like, but like all these things are in this movie, and they're unashamed of it, and they don't even try to hide it.
Okay.
And I kind of respected it as I'm watching it for that, because I thought the same thing as you. I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. His motorcycle wouldn't go as fast as Sonic or him. You know what I mean? Because like it's not a speedster. You know what I mean?
He's just a bike.
All of a sudden he's going slow motion to Sonic, right? No, it's going as fast as he would. Like these things don't make sense. But you know what looks cool? Fucking Shadow riding a motorcycle, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this movie suffers from the Marvel syndrome. Is like there's no way to understand power levels or what happens when one Super Saiyan hits the other Super Saiyan. It's all just
magma comes
ridiculous.
from the earth, and you go through mountains essentially.
It's all just ridiculous kid shit, just like
Yeah.
all the most of the Marvel films. It's just like what? There's no stakes. There's no way to measure any of this stuff. That's what I mean. Like you have Sonic versus It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, there's a major difference there. Again, there's generations of things to consider. There's 27,000 asterisks there, but like one's a movie and one's a movie for kids. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference.
I mean, like, look though, for the good stuff that I did enjoy about this is, I mean, like, this is unabashedly Sonic.
Oh god,
right?
yeah.
Like this checks every box for every Sonic game you've ever played.
This is somehow the most Sonic of these movies,
right?
You know what I mean? Like Sonic has the most quips in this. He talks the most shit, like he did in the cartoon from the 90s. You know what I mean? And all the things that we see and go through, you know, even the Dr. Robotnik story, it's very Sonic all the way through. So I agree with you on that.
But and then the part like we do get a showdown between Shadow and Sonic that leads to Shadow legitimately one punching fucking the Master Emerald out of Sonic. Like he hit his ass so hard.
Yep.
And I was like, yes.
He also,
yes. God, yes.
He also punches a human being, James Marsden, and doesn't split him in half.
Well,
mean,
you know,
hey,
he held back.
That's
you know
the
what I mean?
kid aspect.
That's Cyclops
Sure.
you're talking to.
Sure.
True. You're getting
That
treated
said-
just as he should.
Well, no,
That's right.
yeah, from X-Men,
Deservedly punched.
from X-Men 3, like a little bitch.
No,
Yeah, of course.
from all versions
Yeah,
of
sure.
the X-Men.
So that's
Except
so.
that, because like, listen,
Hold on.
that is X-Men 97.
Yeah.
That is Cyclops' like,
Yeah, peak form, right?
yes, sir.
Well,
Okay,
no.
so-
even the actual 97, like the
Sure,
X-Men
yeah.
from 97, Cyclops was actually
So
pretty good
all right,
there.
Ben Schwartz, Jim Carrey, Keanu Reeves, Idris Elba, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, Kristen Ritter. Which again, like,
Mhm.
what happens?
Why?
What happens to her? Like she just kind of slinks
just
away.
gone.
Yeah. James Marsden. They most of them reprise their roles. Directed by Jeff Fowler. Here's the thing about Sonic is like without my first impression when I stood up is without Jim Carrey coming back and without Keanu, there is no Sonic 3. That's why I'm sure that's why they made this because they got those because like didn't Jim Carrey say he was done after Sonic 2? He's retiring.
So
from
Jim
film.
Carrey is retired.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like that's his thing. But
Yeah,
they're like,
then
how
he-
about you play two?
But then he was
roles?
actually quoted saying, "I spent way too much money and I needed to do another film." You
Like,
know
look,
what I mean?
respect. I mean, get that
Yeah,
paycheck.
yeah. I'm all
Get
for
that
it.
bag, son.
Get that
Get it.
paycheck for playing two characters in one film. You do you, Jim Carrey.
So okay, so let's talk about Jim Carrey and Robotnik in this. You know,
Well, hold on, but before we do that, Roger, as
Oh,
new,
yeah, go ahead.
new tradition dictates, what is this Sonic film about?
So in the third version of Sonic, we get more Sonic.
Thank you for that apt description. Well, I mean, this is a to me this is the one that's going to end the trilogy, and it's
Sure.
I
Did you
think
see
we
the after credit scene.
I did, but I saw
Wait,
what
there was an
happened.
after credit scene?
Yes,
Oh, I
there
actually
was.
watched
Dude.
And a weird pink Sonic with a hammer comes.
Oh
I
no,
don't
it's
know.
his girlfriend.
That's Amy.
Amy.
Whatever.
So Grayson, for you, that's basically Link, but in the Sonic universe that
Look,
you get to see there.
how many different hedgehogs are there like this?
Oh, we're missing
Hey,
a whole gang,
Buddy,
here.
they got kids.
Here's the thing:
Yeah.
the last Sonic game I played seriously was probably Sonic 3 and Sonic Pinball in like '97. So my knowledge base in between there is limited.
Listen, you
Sonic
missed some big
Pinball
stuff.
is a goated
And I know there was a weird Sonic in 2006 where they tried to have Sonic in a relationship with a real human woman. I remember that because I was working at GameStop and I sold the game.
I'm from the understanding that Shadow was.
Yeah.
What, in relationship with a real woman? Oh, I mean, not that way. I mean, that's a weird.
Hold up.
I've been on.
I don't
hey,
know if it.
Hey, I've been on DeviantArt.
We're not that kind of podcast. Let's not go there. But I'm just saying. So here's the
We're
thing
turning
about
Chris off for a little while.
No,
yeah.
that's the problem. I'm not turned off.
Oh
That's the
God.
thing is like you look down, you
Never.
just see Chris's window getting smaller until he's just gone completely, and the mic is
Just
gone. and-
mute his mic for a while. God damn
Here's the
you.
thing: is like we watched the trailer, and like this to me seemed so heavily to revolve around the Shadow story and whatever happened when he lost his friend. Like I think they missed a
We don't
huge
know what
opportunity. That's the thing is, I think we missed a huge opportunity in this film to develop more of the character of Shadow in relation to the one person he met, the girl that wasn't a total dick to him, that like he became friends with, and then I understand his motivation at least on the broad scale because you took from me, I'm gonna kill all of you. Like that's what it is. It's like that's why he teams up with Robotnik in this.
It's
like,
very John Wick.
I mean, listen.
well, Shadow is a very Keanu John Wick character. And like why I say that is because I remember like really writing papers of this in college you remember The Day the Earth Stood Still, Roger? That the first holiday. I kind of enjoyed it. But that was a very Keanu role too.
Mhm.
And like in a way I mean that is like you should let me go. You should see what's coming. It's like and delivered in the ways that like Keanu delivers lines as Shadow, like very Keanu-esque.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what makes
I know kung fu.
That's what makes this movie work, I think, is the Keanu link. Keanu's the magic ingredient in this film.
You know the one thing that I always wanted from the Shadow story of this movie that we don't get?
What's that?
Where the fuck did he come from?
Yeah.
Because like, look,
I
we know
agree.
how Sonic got here. We know how Knuckles got here. We know how Tails got here.
Yeah,
Where the fuck did Shadow come
he
from?
was just already here, dog. Don't worry about it. Don't think.
But he's been here for 55 years.
Again, like I don't know. Sometimes I'm that guy that
Didn't he
gives
come from a? Didn't he land in the crater? Did
he
I miss
he
that?
It came from a meteorite.
yeah, he crashed from a meteorite. He didn't teleport here.
No.
He wasn't portaled here. But anyway, like I'm sometimes I'm the guy that gives these kids movies shit for having, weird
Not enough explanation.
yeah, weird discrepancies, not enough explanation, things that don't make
He's
sense.
just here.
But again, I feel like that this movie doesn't ever try to be smarter than what it's showing you, and it's like that doesn't make it okay. But it's one of those things where it's like, they're not trying to explain things away to me. They're just kind of like, yeah, he's here. He's been here for 50 years.
I have
Cool. You know what I mean? Like they just let it fucking ride.
Just let it go.
I would
Yeah.
argue you that's not a that's not a children's movie. That's a film thing. You can't just. It's not okay if it's not explained in a kids movie because like you still have to do the thing like you still have to somehow make things make sense even in the universe that we get. Like you have to
No.
has to be a progression. So like that's a movie thing. It's not a
we
kids movie thing.
me, you, and Roger want to know how the hell Shadow got there, where he's been, what he's from. Hold on.
That's in the con column. Is what I'm saying.
Hold on. My kids didn't give a shit.
Don't care. Yeah.
Well,
My kids were
fair.
like, whoa, he's really strong. He beat Knuckles in one punch. You know what I mean? That's what they cared about. They were, when my oldest daughter was like, he looks like a Saiyan. I was like, I'm proud of you. And
I love you so
know what
much, child.
Like it's that's what they
I'm
cared
a good
about.
dad.
Like that's what they cared about, and like that's what I mean when I say this movie was unabashedly just for kids.
Which is
And
for me,
the
it's in the
parents
pro.
that-
It's in the con column for me.
well, okay, but for me, I feel like it's a pro because, like, I love Sonic from the history that I have with that character playing the games growing up.
Sure.
My daughters are never going to play Sonic.
Not like
But
that
but
anyway.
but it's
Not
really,
like Sonic like we played
but
Sonic.
it's really cool. My kids love Sonic, and I love Sonic, and we have two different perspectives on why we even know who Sonic is.
Sure.
That's really freaking cool as a dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, when I fire up Mega Man on my PC, on my emulator and play through Mega Man, and my daughter, who's 6 years old, who's never played a game like that, sits down and watches me play it because she loves Mega Man, because she has a little Mega Man action figure and she has a couple Mega Man like stuffed animal things. That's really cool for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that means
It's a different
something.
kind of connection.
It really is. So, like, when this movie just starts firing all cylinders, brings a fan favorite in Shadow, because he is the fan favorite,
He's a badass
into
dude.
the fold. Keanu voices him, who is a fantastic voice actor. This is his third stint voice acting. He's been amazing in everything. This isn't even his best work, and he did great as Shadow, I think. And then you have Jim Carrey coming back, and really, I think they let Jim Carrey off the leash.
Yeah,
What
they-
happened.
They let him just be a wild animal.
They did. They really did. And you know what? Jim Carrey felt like he was having fun in this.
Yeah.
The Jim Carrey Robotnik stuff is my least favorite part of all of this. But here's the thing: I know it's probably one of the strongest things for a portion of people.
Well, yeah.
And you know what? If I didn't laugh a few times in this movie, I'd be lying. And also, if I didn't really appreciate the scene where he dances with himself, I thought in any other movie, I think that was stupid. But for some reason,
It fit, right?
it works so well with the tone.
Again, what happens when the laser hits their head? Like what?
Yeah.
No, I thought that same
That
thing.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I thought that same thing though. But you know what? Who cares? Because Jim Carrey is literally dancing with himself
Well, see,
and having a blast.
That's the argument that the studio had is like, who cares? Like we're making it for people who won't ask that question. So,
Yeah,
but like
that's
we
fair.
did ask that question, but like your girls, they were just loving the hell out
No,
of it.
they're
and
into it, yeah.
They didn't care.
And I understand that
The
perspective
theater
too.
I was in, man, with multiple kids in their Sonic onesies, and just laughing at all the stupid jokes. All the stupid jokes. I hate this so much. What are you doing? Stop it. He's been waiting all day to put it on. But like all the kids in their Sonic onesies, all the kid laughter at the stupid jokes, and then the 1 second delay, and then the parents laughing too because their kids are laughing. Like that was like this is the. I didn't do that in Moana. You know what I mean?
No.
That didn't happen in that movie. It didn't happen in Strange World. Like this was a different
Is that
experience.
a bucket?
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
it
Yes,
is.
it's 2 popcorn buckets, but yeah, I meant to show this earlier, but I meant
Now
to
imagine if that looked like
the.
the original version of Sonic
With
that
his
we almost
fucking
got.
teeth.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Is like if if you haven't seen the original version of Sonic that we didn't get because the public outcry was so great, you should go back and look at it because it's an abomination.
Horrible.
It's
It's
awful.
horrible.
I worked at GameStop when that was announced.
Bullying
Do you have any
works.
idea how many people came in that I hadn't seen in years that just wanted to come in and complain about Sonic? Like, it was crazy.
Because that's the place you should do that.
It was an actual move. It was an actual like moment. It was weird. like we were the outlet. It's like
We need to go talk to the man at the video game store about Sonic the game.
it was like, Jesus, what's happening?
Well, no, I
Don't-
mean,
hey, listen,
for good
general
reason.
public, do not do that.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Don't
please.
do that.
well, I mean, this is the one rare example that like all their outcry worked. Like
It
they
did.
got it. Like
I promise you, it wasn't the GameStop employees that
no,
rose a
that's
stink,
not what I'm
though.
saying. But it's the
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who
yeah.
were. It was
Again,
the people that are like, what the hell?
Bullying
is that?
works.
Yeah, honestly, to tell you the truth, between Twitter and IGN, I think they probably the ones that are the most vocal about it.
Reddit,
Yeah, Reddit.
Reddit too. You're right, but
which is the cesspool of the internet,
it really is.
where I
It's-
spend a lot of time.
It's the armpit of the WWW.
It is. So let's just talk about basically the
Yeah.
plot. I mean, there's so like again to say I in my notes here like there are so many plot holes. It just at some point you just
So many.
gotta like what's the thing that like
So
Aristotle said, storytelling is I forget what it like the apps or the willing suspension of disbelief.
So now we're talking about it. How I kind of gave it a thumbs up. I kind of like maybe I don't want. I'm not going to reverse it, but I kind of understand.
Don't let us talk you out.
Well,
of it. I know
no.
you
Here's the
feel,
thing. It's
dog.
not that, but it's just like I realized that I am judging that movie harshly on shit that like when they make this movie, they're just like, we're not telling you because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
but
it does matter to me. And then I'm like, I don't fucking matter either.
Well,
So
but again, I've done the same thing that you're doing right now to other movies. But like it's like I said, the fact that they're just like, fuck it,
Hey,
it just sent.
it
this
just
thing.
works, baby.
Yeah,
Well, no, but
they
that
just
just
sent
works.
this thing. It's like respect. All right,
It
whatever.
does look good as hell, though.
It
Looks
does.
great.
It
I've got to
really
say,
does.
like, I'm actually proud of you, Roger, for growing up your movie critiquing because, like, you're upset because nothing in this movie makes any goddamn sense.
No, I'm upset because it should be a better story. I am not upset at the fact that I watched Sonic do awesome stuff on screen
Sure,
because
and
I
that's-
did, and it looked fucking cool.
Again,
Like that
with-
was cool.
with the
Dude.
better story. We could have gotten
Oh yeah,
They
but
improved
the same
Son-
things.
They improved the Sonic role thing so much in this film too, because even in 2 it looked kind of janky, and it was like a couple big moments in the second film
when he busts through the stones and stuff in
Yeah.
the second one. Yeah,
Yeah, but like in this, someone was like, "Hey, listen, I want to work on that role on the CGI
I gotta
team.
do it.
That's all I want to do. Let me work on that. I
You,
promise you."
you know what I'm
good. And it looks
surprised that
great.
they didn't do? They didn't do it for Knuckles.
Well, you know what?
I kept expecting it.
I don't know how hard it was to make it happen in the way they did, and I think all the work they went in from like changing the way it looked into 2 from 2 to 3. Maybe they're like, I can't do this again with Knuckles. To do this with 2 characters would be
Okay.
way too much. So like, I'm thinking maybe that's why, because it does look way better, and it looks like it actually like is happening in the real world.
Yeah.
Where in the first 2, it's like,
Just
we're
happened.
doing this because the video game does it.
It makes the noise,
and it looks super weird on screen. And this one, it's like, holy shit! Like that's how it should look.
Yeah.
like it
I
looked
agree.
like it fit.
Well, let's talk about like another shift in this film is like away from Tom and his wife,
Yeah.
and more
Thank
dealing.
Thank
Well,
God.
I will never. It's the Transformers thing. I will never agree that the way to make this movie is without humans ever.
No.
Well,
ever.
okay, so I don't disagree with that here because I think you have to have them in some capacity because they are basically his parents.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
which is fine. The problem I have with them being gone for most of this movie is when we get them back, we get some of the worst parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Like when they're doing the thing where they're tapping her thing and they're changing and like she's like yelling at the military guy
Yeah.
as her sister. Like
Why?
at least I understand that people probably think that that's funny.
So
So again, I'm going to oversimplify this. That's not funny to
it's
me.
not. But here's the thing: they're all there, including the 2 they transformed, because they're contract. They have contracts.
Sure. No,
It's the only reason.
yeah, no, I get it. But it's just like they could have changed into anybody. You changed your fucking sister.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I get that part of it. But here's the like
Why didn't somebody change into the general?
they did eventually.
Well, yeah, but not when it mattered. I can't get in this bill. Hold up.
Bonk. Yeah. Well, like, it's just like I don't know. I think the studio also understood that the thing that people were there for is Sonic and not for the not
Sure.
for the human story. You know what I mean? So like we get just enough of them this time. Maybe a little bit too much with how involved they are in that weird middle part of the act of Act 2 or whatever. But I'm glad it was just that and not more.
I agree.
Because
I agree with you 100%.
because I think that this movie is like a tight 90, isn't it?
It's like 100.
Okay,
yeah, it's not too far off.
Even so, like, to imagine if they didn't cut anything and had to get a little bit more human story in there, this thing would have started to drag because it just hits its welcome. I think.
Well,
by the time we're wrapping up,
can I give you a thought real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I really thought that this movie was going to be that Tom was going to tell Sonic that they were pregnant. And
so
then,
I kept thinking that was going to happen.
And then I thought, well, this is going to be Sonic's, like, he's going to grow up because he realizes that he's going to get angry that he's no longer going to be the focus of being their child, but then he realizes he's got to protect his own family, which is Knuckles and Tails. And I was like, that's a natural progression.
No,
we didn't get any of that.
Instead, we get Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Vegeta
Moonbusters.
fighting. Yeah,
but again, I
which
think,
is I'm cool with.
Yes, that's for the best.
Okay, so let me ask you this: Are we agreed that it was a better story? It was a better final product with Shadow than without Shadow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because Shadow's a great bad guy.
He is, and Keanu does it well.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel that part of it. And
get out of my way.
And and here's the thing, we do get a. I know you said you guys are talking about how we don't get enough of his backstory. I think we get enough of it to make the movie work, and you get his motivations. You get that he is about revenge when he makes the choice in the end to do what he does to hurt. What is it? Joel? What's his name? The human that Sonic likes.
Tom.
It's I say Joel. Anyway, when
you talk about Last of Us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When he hurts Tom.
Donut Lord.
And Donut Lord. when he injures the Donut Lord.
Yes.
And decides to go through with killing everyone. Like you're not like he wouldn't do that. You're like, nah, I get it. You know what I mean? Because they do.
He killed my dad. I'm gonna kill him.
Well, that's it. I was expecting more depth.
You're a good son.
You're
a good son.
I was expecting more depth with the Robotnik character because, like, we never until we see.
Do you want more depth with the Robotnik character?
Well, hear me out for a second. Until we see how the Shadow and the little girl thing plays out. Until we see the end of that, we don't even know that the older Robotnik even knows the girl.
Yeah,
you know true. What I mean?
Like, we didn't get that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I want you to think about this for a second. That girl, that Shadow's girl that dies, that's either Robotnik's aunt or something else.
So that's okay. So like
fill that gap.
Now I understand.
Don't do it. But
I understand. I'm not supposed to because this is a thing I'm not supposed to. But I had that same thought.
Yeah.
Right. If that is Robotnik's grandfather.
Yeah.
Which is established that it is. Where are Robotnik's parents? And how did we get to? Because Robotnik, they said, was an orphan.
Yeah.
Like, what happened in the middle there? No, listen, that's some story we're never going to get, and I don't technically care. But that is a 100% something that came in because I was like,
"Oh, that's Robotnik's sister."
Nah, he was too old.
Well,
he's too old.
No.
Well,
think about it. That's his granddaughter.
It's his granddaughter. That absolutely could be
that's his Pat.
Yeah. That could be his sister.
Yeah, that could be his sister.
It's either his sister or his cousin. Could be his cousin.
Yeah,
but like the movie isn't clear. It would have taken nothing to make it clear. You know, it would have taken the.
I mean, it just could have been his daughter.
So I was giving the movie more credit. I thought that was like future Robotnik. Like I thought that was like the same Robotnik from the future somehow. Nope. But like it's not.
It's not. That's not how time travel works.
It's
that's
Gerald,
the opposite version of
Gerald Robotnik, which is fine, whatever. But it's
well, I think the real crime. If you watch the final product, which we got, which is what is Sonic the Hedgehog 3, is they go so close to like an emotional depth, but we never quite get there because the movie doesn't allow itself to get there. I think, because hey, we're making this for kids. It's like
it's a little heavy for kids.
I always talk about like there's a Pocahontas. They took out a song, If I Never Knew You, where Mel and the woman who voices Pocahontas sing If I Never Knew You. This would it's a wonderful ballad that they took out because kids were zoning out in test audiences, which I understand. However, you take out some of the heart and emotion of the film by removing that. Same with here is I think that if we spend an extra 5 minutes, just 5 minutes with the girl linked to Shadow and the girl linked to the Robotnik, maybe before he was an evil prick, maybe before he started doing all of his villainy stuff, the older Robotnik, like that would have, I can agree with Because
Or
as it stands right now, I know why that Shadow and Robotnik Senior want to destroy the world, but like
Yeah.
I know it from an abstract way, but I don't know the intricate reason as to like how important she was to them. The movie tells
Or-
me, never shows me.
or Dr. Robotnik was always doing evil shit. Which I think would.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to.
He's harnessing Shadow's chaos energy to develop nuclear thermal weapons.
Yeah, because he says it himself. They built this whole thing exactly to my design, so it was always meant to have his weird mustache and a death laser.
And can we talk about the one character who really I now love is
Knuckles.
Robotnik's little
His
like
stooge.
dude. I laughed so fucking hard when Robotnik rips off his shirt, and then the next scene he's wearing the jacket without the shirt.
And there's no shirt under.
But there's
they
a tie.
maintained that joke the whole time. Yeah.
Yep.
That, I laughed so hard I thought I was
Yeah.
gonna pee myself, and no one understood why I was laughing. But I thought
Real
that was
quick,
so funny.
I don't want to miss this point because I've wanted to raise it a couple times. This movie, the entire trailer happens in the first 30 minutes.
Yes.
Kudos to this film for that, because you get to like the entirety of the trailer that they gave away story for happens in the first 30 minutes, and then it's shit that you just that you never heard about.
Yep.
That's actually hard to do in 2024.
It is.
So good for them. I really did appreciate
listen,
that.
Here's the thing. If they would put in the trailer that you had the Super Saiyan fight, like what a disappointment that would have been.
Oh,
because
yeah.
like when it happens, god damn, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. I wanted more of that, and I know why we didn't, because animation is expensive.
And
but
it's too awesome.
God damn, that was cool as hell. That made my little kid heart, my Dragon Ball Z.
Like I want
happy.
you to understand. So, and I don't want to, I guess we can just probably get to it. Like, so we do. This movie does culminate with a fight between Sonic and Shadow at like full power. And it is very, like, all jokes aside, it is very Dragon Ball-esque.
Oh yeah.
Sonic has to power up fully with the Chaos or the Master Emerald, becomes Supersonic before he can even really step into the realm of fighting Shadow. And then Shadow just does something like legitimately, I joked about it earlier, he punches him right in the face and just knocks the fucking Emerald out of him. He's like, no. Child, sit down.
He does the whole he does the whole Neo from the Matrix thing where he stops his hand and just moves it. I was like, all right then.
Yeah.
Good call out. Good call back to your characters.
But and then it ends up with both of them being, because I told my wife before it happened, I was like, I just want you to know, because I had no idea what actually happened. I kind of had an idea it might, but I was like, just so you know, Shadow can go super too.
Yeah.
And then not 10 minutes later, fucking on the screen. And like, I am so happy though that they made them look different.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
Like it noticeably different, because like,
yeah, how are you gonna have Goku and Vegeta fight if they look the exact same?
Yeah, so like, but with Shadow up there like simmering white hot, I was just like, whoa, he looks so badass.
Yeah,
but like that's gonna be what people be like. Yeah, that's awesome, and like that's gonna be how people sell it to their friends to go watch it.
And it should be, but like, look, all the reasons I don't like, all the problems I have with this movie, that is not it, man. Like that was cool, like super cool.
Oh yeah.
Like when they're going through and they're fighting the robots together, and he's like, I got him on my tail, and then Shadow's like, I got you. Wham.
Yep.
Like it was rad.
Also really cool to see them fighting together as Super out in space, which, when Goku and Vegeta fight as a team, you love that too. You know what I mean?
It looks great when they're both souped up.
All the same. It's all just Dragon Ball.
But like, and then we get back to like, they have to try to say, they have to turn the laser or whatever. And why do we fuck up the moon? Like, why do we put that in there?
Why did we Alderaan the moon?
Because kids laugh at that in the movie theater.
Like, I want you to understand, like, if the moon's actually broken, like, we have cataclysmic events happening on Earth, buddy.
Yeah, that whole piece is falling to Earth.
Yeah, it's coming down.
Armageddon be damned. Like, you know what I mean?
Like we've all watched Moonfall. God, that's a documentary.
Well, like thinking about just like other pieces of the scale of awesomeness, like when Sonic and Shadow are going at it and stuff, the implications of how strong they are in that moment is also scaled way out of proportion, not out of proportion, but like to levels that like the movie can't give proper like homage to, but like those are Omega level threats. Those are Avengers level multiverse ending threats.
Yeah, they are legitimately walking nuclear bombs.
But like, and like to just have this in a kids movie, but like at the same time, the people who were making this movie were like looking like fourth wall breaking to the parents, going, "You're welcome." You know what I mean? That's what it felt
Yes.
like, and I was like, "All right, this is cool." Like, as I'm watching it, all my problems with all the little things, that there are a lot of problems. Like, I'll give an example. When Sonic's not going to make it into the dome, and the solution is that Tails grabs him out of midair,
Slows him down.
stops his entire progress, then spins and throws him, and somehow that's faster. Okay, movie. But you know what? Again, when they looked through and fourth wall broke, and went, "You're welcome."
Couldn't have just used
I
a
f-
ring to teleport him to the other side of the dome.
Nope. Listen, I fucking gobbled it all up, because you know what? I got all the cool shit that I wanted to see, and I got to see it with Keanu voicing him.
True.
And he got to ride a badass motorcycle because it looked cool. You know what I mean? And then they got to shoot a laser beam at the moon, and then they got to be Super Saiyans and fight, and then they got to fight in space together.
Yep.
And then Dr. Robotnik got to fight himself, which is fucking weird to say out loud, and it was actually it was entertaining.
Can we talk about the death of Robotnik?
Hold
Yeah.
on,
The
let's
first
just-
one?
I was gonna ask you guys, how do you? I was, because I know Carrie said that's it, I'm done. Like, you guys get me for a third movie and I'm done. So figure it out. So that's why then the after the credit sequence makes no sense. That's why it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why are we doing this? Are we done with the Sonic trilogy?
Well, so here's the thing. We know that it's not smart for any studio to close the door on literally. So this is literally going to be their third successful movie.
Yep.
Like, financially, you know what I mean. The first one was, second one was, this one most likely will be too. Especially when people talk about it in a positive way. This thing is going to have legs. It just will. And why would they purposefully shut the door all the way?
Oh, you
on
never
what they
close
have?
the door.
Yeah. So, like, whether they ever make a fourth movie or not, now they can. You know what I mean? They can point to, we were planning on it. They might take 4 years off instead of 3. You know what I mean?
5 or 7
something
or
like that. But, like, they have already laid the groundwork for the next one. Robotnik doesn't have to be in it at this point. Not Jim Carrey as Robotnik anyway.
They can just leave the planet.
They've established that there is a bloodline of Robotniks, so it exists somewhere in that realm.
He's got parents somewhere.
And possibly another sister, maybe. And, like, all this, but, like, it's all there. And while Robotnik is the person who designs those Sonic robots you see at some point in that after credit scene, like, he doesn't have to be the guy for them to make this story work. There's plenty of shit in these movies that isn't actually, like, that isn't even close to, like, game canon. It's not. The fact that he's on Earth with talking to people, it's already outside of that scope.
It's not game style.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever. They have a cool thing. They have the same team that worked on all 3 movies, so they give a shit. They did a great job. If in a year someone said, "Hey, the same team that made the first 3 Sonic movies are making the 4th one. It's going to come out in 3 years." I'm going to be like, "Cool, I'll go see it."
Yeah.
Because they just have done a good job with these damn
Well,
things.
I mean, look, opening weekend was it's $62 million. Like, that's not many movies open to a domestic like that. They just don't.
I know.
So, like,
I know.
that shows you that they're doing something right.
Well, because here's the thing too, like, Sonic is very popular overseas.
Oh yeah.
So, like, it will get a nice
Wait till this thing
world
hits
boost.
the Asian continent.
Asia.
It's going to be fucking massive.
It's
Again.
just so. I mean, one thing. I mean, Idris Elba voices Knuckles, which
I love him.
I think he actually
So good.
I think they wrote lines because they had Idris Elba and they didn't want to waste him. It's
Sure,
like,
you.
he did such a good job.
Yeah.
He
Like,
was
as Knuckles.
much better than the hedgehog I fought previously. He's like, what the fuck, dude?
Which was a line we knew was going to happen. It
Yeah.
was still funny when it happened on the screen. It was like, that's
I would
funny.
very much like to fight.
Yeah.
Well, like,
Yeah, you do.
It's like the conversation they had about breaking glass, and no, only in
Yeah.
emergency. He's like, I will break the glass, I will shatter its soul. It's like that
I will
was kind of
shatter
funny
it.
too. That
I'll
was
break it like the jaw of an enemy.
I wonder, but like, the thing is, how many more of these do we get?
As many.
So here's the thing. I think we take a break for a while.
Yeah.
Like 3,
fine.
4, probably 4 years before or 3 years before you bring it up, right? Because I mean, like, we did 3 movies in 5 years, 3 movies in 4
years, 2020,
4 total years, right?
Okay, yeah.
So assuming that it started getting worked on in 18, so in a 6-year span, you got 3 complete movies, right? I don't see any reason to come back to this till like 29, 30.
I would
Right?
agree with you. Yeah.
Which I know it's weird. God, it feels weird saying shit like that. But, like, yeah, 5 years from now is 2029, 2030.
Yeah.
Summer
Well-
of 2030, if they drop Sonic 4, I'll be like, hell yeah, let's go see it.
Yeah. Let's go see.
Right, let's go.
So you
Let's go
guys
see this.
weren't surprised at the all the death in the end then?
No, okay, so hold on. I didn't say I wasn't surprised. I thought how it happened was just like, especially with Old Man Robotnik, where they're just like, boop.
Yep.
And I was just like,
He
I
gone.
looked at my wife and I went, well, damn,
He gone.
he gone.
But he
But
was
like, here's the thing:
He made a great bug zapper.
the Robotnik and Shadow, together going out as heroes. Like, I got no problem with that. Like that's movie stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like that's shit that you love,
Yeah,
Grayson.
yeah. That,
But
they
like
did
the
that
I
for
like-
you.
Like Old Man Robotnik when he just is like,
Thing is,
that's exactly what I thought about. I was like, whatever.
but they never gave him any kind of like redemption arc or like
Hey,
I just expected them
fuck 'em.
to. No,
Well,
I mean I like the idea of but like if you don't have Jim Carrey, do you have any Sonic movie? That's what I'm trying to act like.
I think you get a less version of it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think it'd be a success. Like, Jim Carrey is as integral to these first three movies as Sonic himself.
Yeah.
Having a good voice guy in Ben Schwartzman. Like, Sonic didn't really have like a set voice before because there's been a bunch of voice actors that have played him. But
Yeah.
like, when I see Sonic, I hear Ben Schwartz's voice.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it is.
It fits. Yep. 100%.
So yeah,
And now Shadow will forever be Keanu Reeves for me.
yeah.
So,
And
it is what it
Knuckles
is.
has long been Idris
Oh
Elba.
yeah. Knuckles was Idris Elba before I even knew who
Oh, yeah.
Idris was. Like,
Exactly.
that would like talk about perfect voice casting. That's it, right? Like that fits so well. I
Mhm.
can't imagine it being anybody else now, and I can't believe it was ever anybody else. if
Old
at all.
Stringer Bell is Knuckles the Echidna.
Yeah.
You know,
So I think that's cool.
I kind of give them props for because do you guys remember when they're having their Super Saiyan fight and Sonic is about to pummel Knuckles?
Yeah.
I really expected in that moment, like I would have called it, man. I would have bet my life savings on it that we would have seen when he was getting ready to punch Knuckles. We would have seen like a ghost, like the little girl like hold Sonic's fist for him for a moment. Like I just
Oh
I
God.
was expecting to see her
Ah.
come because like I think that's one of the few things that we missed in this film is like Shadow never got a proper
Hey.
goodbye to the girl.
Hey, plot
What?
twist. What if she's not dead?
She is
Womp,
come on,
womp,
she's,
womp.
she's dead. So is Shadow. So is Robotnik. They're all dead.
Shadow's not dead. Did you watch both scenes?
Oh no, I didn't see the second. Fuck,
Oh,
man, I
my
didn't see the second one. I
God.
just saw the first one.
Hey,
I'm
he
on this
can't
show
die.
with a bunch of amateurs. What the fuck?
I had to
What
pee
the
really bad. I had
fuck?
to pee so bad.
What the fuck?
I didn't. So okay, I didn't. I thought one. I was like, there's no way there's a second one. So that makes it see again. But like in any film, that makes a sacrifice a whole lot less worth anything.
Listen, if this wasn't a kids movie, I'd be 100% in your boat. But you know what? This movie gave the big middle finger to taking it seriously long ago.
That's look.
Like,
And Sonic won, by the way.
yeah.
like the first 7 minutes.
when they teleported themselves and the snow to the wedding, they were like, "Nah, we don't give a shit, right? No, we don't give a shit."
I was actually-
and they just fucking did it.
I was actually
what I
also
mean?
surprised of how little we got like how little the rings had anything to do in this film at all.
They're out of them now, though. So
Yeah. That was it. That was the last one, wasn't it?
Yep.
Which that was a cool moment too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
Like, good
agree.
for them. They had a good they had moments that still were like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. And like
they
listen,
saved each other.
yeah, and listen, the fact that Shadow did his thing, pushed the thing out. Again, he's a fan favorite. There's a reason why he can't die. You know what I mean?
Is he really the fan favorite of the games?
Yes. Yeah. If you pulled 100 people, 88 of them would say Shadow's their favorite Sonic character. Easily. He's the dark brooding emo guy.
Yeah, we all love
He's
that.
voiced-
Yeah.
wait,
He's voiced by Keanu, who
by
did
fucking John Wick
who's John Wick and Johnny Silverhand. Yeah.
and Neo.
Yeah, they
Don't
like
forget that.
they like Shadow. When they wanted Keanu to do Shadow, he said, "I have one condition: I get to ride a motorcycle even as Shadow." They said, "Yes, sir."
The only thing I wanted to understand about Shadow is where did he get his fucking sweet shoes?
Dude, I want a pair of them shoes now. You know what I mean?
Mm.
They're good.
Well, final thoughts then on Sonic 3.
I mean, like, look, it's okay.
There you go. I think that's
Like,
an
where here's the thing:
acceptable
where it's cool, it's real cool.
Mhm.
Where it's not cool, it's lame.
answer. It sucks.
Yeah,
When it's bad, is bad.
Yep.
But you know what? This movie buys enough of my good grace, of my goodwill, to be like, yeah, this movie's cool. Because again,
fun matters, baby.
it does, and again, this movie I said it at the beginning. I'll say it, and I'll close up with the same thing. This is unabashedly a kids movie, and they lean into that so hard with the way Jim Carrey is let off the leash to really just be Robotnik in the way that he has seen it, and he has said, "I'll do this movie, I'll do this character, but I want to go tap into my older physical comedy." They're like, fine, and they really let him do that this time around because it's a kids movie, and Robotnik, played as Jim Carrey, doing weird things with his fat belly, made my 6-year-old laugh. You know what I mean? That's exactly what they wanted from that, and it works. Every bit of this, I'm not like, I don't know, man, that doesn't belong. It's like, nah, I get it.
works.
I throw my hands up just as much as the movie creators did for this. Someone went, "Hey, does this really work when we do this way?" And some guy went, "Fucking do it." And they were like, "Okay." And
Just press the button.
it comes together,
nerd.
and I'm happy about it.
Roger, do you regret your thumbs down, or do you still stand by that?
No, I stand by it.
I get it.
But like I said, where it's cool, it's cool. Where it's not cool, it's not cool.
Again,
I will boil it down to that much. Where it is fun and cool, it is fun and awesome and cool.
Yep.
And there are large parts of it that just aren't. But like the fun coolness doesn't overcome the not fun cool for me. That's all.
and that's fair.
It's
100%
like
fair.
legitimately, it's more like middle-ish.
Trending down.
Yeah.
What about you, Grayson?
I had a good time watching this. I don't know what a subsequent viewing would do. I don't think I'd enjoy it near as much.
It wouldn't help. No. Because the cool things that happen the first time are more impressive the first time, and the things that are bad will bother you more the second time around.
Here's the thing. I was so intrigued by where we were going with Shadow and the girl. Like, I thought that was a good character arc setup. I I want to see what tragedy befalls this person, why she's not in the life. Because I like the thing that they do with he putting his hand in a glass and he starts to that's like it's been done a million times in film. But like I just wanted to go further into, if you want to destroy the planet, you better have a damn good reason. Like, I don't think the movie gave it, like I said, in an abstract way, a good reason that he wanted to kill everyone. But like, when he gets to the nitty gritty of it, like, the nitty gritty is what's going to keep him from blowing up the world. But we never got the nitty gritty. So then him not wanting to blow up the world, that's what doesn't make any sense. Like, that the attitude that got him there would have been enough to carry him through. Fuck everyone, I'm going to kill him. So I wanted more to explore more with the backstory of Senior Robotnik and Shadow. I think that was where they missed an opportunity. That's all I mean. Is like, Roger, you wanted a better story. It's like, that's where they could have made the better story.
Sure, of course, yeah.
That's good. That's just kind of what I wanted to do. But I am not disappointed with it. So I'm happy. Like, if someone's like, "Hey, should I check out the Sonic trilogy? My kid loves them." I'm like, yeah, why not? If you're a fan of the Sega games, absolutely.
Sure.
But if you're looking for an in-depth story, unfortunately, you're not going to get it. But
that's okay.
You're not watching Sonic for that, so it doesn't matter anyway. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining me for this discussion of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And I really enjoyed our.
They could have put a 3 as an E in Hedgehog. Oh my! It's fucking perfection.
Oh, they could have. You're right.
Fucking perfection.
You remember? You're the one that always talks about Sniper 3 with the 3.
These are just money, baby.
Roger hates
just money for numbers.
Roger hates when they expend 4 bowls. He hates it when they do that.
Do I?
I hate everything about that, so that's fine.
This has been episode 9 of Post Credits Podcast, where we talk about movies. Check us out on all of the usual suspects, including Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Please, if you like the show, subscribe and smash that button, please. I don't know what subscribe and what else. Like and subscribe.
Subscribe, save, download, all that stuff.
I am too old for this. All that good stuff. Do all that. And next week, we hope you'll join us. For what do we discuss next week? I just had
Nosferatu, baby.
We do show prep.
Christmas Day, Nosferatu.
My mind just went blank completely.
So as we close out, I want you guys to picture something for me, because I pictured this while it's happening in the scene. I want you to reimagine the scene where Robotnik dances with himself.
Okay.
And instead of the old Robotnik being Jim Carrey, I want you to picture that as J.K. Simmons. It's so good.